Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, a Spider-Man Brand New Day edition of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And yes, this is your show that if you want to talk about a particular movie, in this case, Spider-Man Brand New Day, ad nauseum, if you just want to do a deep dive, you want to bust out the suction and the scalpel and do an autopsy on a movie here, you most certainly can definitely do that here. This is the show for you, and you'll be able to do that in the live chat here as we do this show here tonight. So yeah, don't think this is going to be one of those shows where you just have to sit there, with your thumb up your butt and just, listen to me and watch me just yap about this movie. No, you get the live chat on YouTube or Rumble. And let me know, hey, if you've seen this movie, did you like it? And I know there's some people that have seen this movie because it took about 5 minutes to become the highest grossing movie of 2026 so far right there. So I know you guys have seen this movie, that's for sure, okay? But before I get too far ahead of myself, first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right there. Are you guys pumped right now? I know I am because it is almost the weekend. It's pre-Friday. It's Thirsty Thursday. Okay, so whatever you guys are drinking out there, hoist it up with pride. Raise your goblet of rock here as we talk some Spider-Man Brand New Day here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And as the title of the show implies, yes, I will be getting into spoilers here tonight. Okay, now I'm not going to bend over backwards and twist myself into a pretzel to do spoilers or to yield spoilers, but I'm also not going to walk on eggshells and tear my hair out trying to avoid spoilers. No. So it's going to be a potentially spoiler heavy episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning as I try to stifle a beer burp right there. So hazards of the trade right there. So. But feel free to send the link to this episode to anybody that you even remotely suspects has seen Spider-Man Brand New Day or is into movies, okay? Go ahead and don't be stingy with the Movies Merica. Spread it far. Spread it wide, okay? There you go. It's, like they say about voting right there. It's like, vote early, vote often. So, yes, watch the show early, watch the show often, that's for sure. So, and hey, we got somebody here in the live chat on the Rumble side. We got SWA Swa. What's up right there? So, and we got BaneOfTheShills is here there in the live chat there as well. So, and actually, BaneOfTheShills will be joining us here a little later on here as we talk some Spider-Man Brand New Day. And this guy is. He basically knows about Star Wars and Marvel there as well, and I'm probably underselling that as far as his knowledge in that arena. But when he has a chance to join us, then I will bring him up here on stage, and we will get into that right now. Okay, so and also we're hearing from the live chat side on the YouTube side. So with that derpy 501st 2 right there says the glaze is real. So yeah, are you at a bakery right now? There, do you have like a donut like close to your nostrils, and you're like sniffing that delicious donut smell? Because damn it, man, don't donuts smell good? Oh man, when you walk into a donut shop, you're like, so tasty, so sugary. so delicious. I want them all, please, please, please. Okay, but I got a sneaking suspicion. Derpy's talking about a different kind of glaze right there. So, and yeah, that's kind of a slang nowadays for if you're glazing something, you're basically kissing something's ass, right? It's you're puckering up and you're smooching that ass right there, and so you're glazing something, that's for sure. So, but and then we got Unfolding Joker in here in the live chat on the Rumble side going ooga booga. Ooga booga. And that's the sound that the boogeyman that used to be in my closet as a kid. He used to the boogeyman. That was just like his go-to phrase. Like when I was laying in bed, like as a 4-year-old, shitting myself because I thought there was a boogeyman in the closet. He would always go ooga booga. Okay, so absolutely. But yeah, Unfolding Joker. I got some good news for you later on in the show. It's about RoboCop. There you go. So you'll just have to pay attention to that right there. And we've got Derpy here with some other thoughts. What do we got here? I love how Supergirl is original character and story, but Marvel fans can still glaze the fourth Spider-Man and the third live action take of the character, not to mention the sixth or seventh Avengers. Well, that's quite easy to answer there, Derpy. Supergirl, that movie sucked. Okay, okay. Millie Alcock was the wrong actress for Supergirl, and again, obviously, without having to say it, even though I'm saying it, that's in my opinion, right there. But yeah, I saw Supergirl. I was not impressed with it whatsoever. We've seen the whole. We've seen like the deconstruction of a superhero before with like James Gunn, what he did to Superman. Now he did it with Supergirl. He's turning Supergirl into a character that kind of rises above. It is above everything, right? Into I'm just a party girl, and I just want to like hang out with my dog, and just get ripped. Oh my god, who wants to see Supergirl like that? If I want to see that, I'll go hang out with the stupid, friggin' yo-yo girls down at the bar right there, at the sorority chicks and whatnot. I don't want to see Supergirl like that. Supergirl should be somebody where like, okay, we're all having our problems. We all have our stupid little problems here that we worry about so much. But Supergirl and Superman, they rise above. They're the pinnacle. They're the object that we should attain, or the object that we should try to live up to, that kind of thing. And James Gunn in his normal fashion with Supergirl. That's what he is. Like James Gunn, like you can tell James Gunn is like one of those guys who got like stuffed in the lockers as a kid. And yeah, I think he pictures like superheroes as like the bullies that did the locker stuffing, and so he basically wants to bring superheroes, i.e., the bullies, down to his level. Okay, and so that's why he tries to just make them seem as unimpressive as possible there, and so they did that with Supergirl right there. So that's why I didn't like it. Spider-Man actually, so at least Spider-Man, gives you something like honorable to watch. He's an honorable superhero. He tries to do right by the people of New York City right there. He's not like oh man, I just want to get drunk. I just want to get hammered. If only there was a James Gunn to hang out with. Like that kind of thing. So I mean, if anybody out there, and it sounds like Derpy is one of those people, and more power to you. If you like Supergirl, hey, more power to you. Watch Supergirl as much as you want. But yeah, I was not a fan right there. And that's why Supergirl became, what was it, like it actually made even less than Morbius. I think that's the universe telling people something like, this is a shitty movie right here. That's for sure. So I love it. I love it. But yeah, it's good stuff right there. But I do appreciate the comment on that, Derpy, and all that, just because we disagree. Hey, we can agree to disagree. That's the great thing about pop culture. Word has it, people have differing opinions on pop culture. I know it's hard to believe. But even though people have different opinions on pop culture, at least they keep it civil on the internet, right? Okay, maybe not. Okay, there we go. Right there. And yeah, looks like we got SWAT 223 on the Rumble side saying the more I think about this film, the lower my rating is. Yeah, look at it. One funny Joker's like, super hurl. Blah. And we got SWAT 223 there. Never watched Supercock. Well, you know what? I don't know. Supercock sounds like one of those movies where you go to the video store and you have to go behind the curtain, and that's where the wait. How do I know that's how they have them back there? I don't know. I don't know. I take that back. There we go. There we go. I love it. I love it. And oh yeah, Derpy with the yeah predictable response. If that's what people do. Like if you disagree with them, they throw like the first ist word, the first phobe word that enters their mind. And if they don't have a fact based argument, they just call you a sexist or a racist or a homophobe or whatever phobe word enters their mind right there. So God bless you, Derpy. God bless you. And we got Noah 77763 on the or on the YouTube Center live chat says Marvel just happens to have better casting and stories than DC right now, and that's easier to do when the source material is a better story as well. So, and that Spider-Man is relatable in a way that almost no other hero is. Noah continues to say right there. So, absolutely, but loving the feedback from Derpy and Noah here on the YouTube side, there in the live chat, and also from the super fans, the absolute studs in the live chat on the Rumble side right there. Okay, so but all right, time to move on into some Spider-Man, shall we?
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
All right, so one thing that bothers me here, not enough to where I stay up late at night, pulling my hair out and biting my fingernails and all that stuff about it right here. But towards the end of Spider-Man: Brand New Day, we have Ned. He's like just hanging out, and I think Peter walks in, and Peter is debating. I think he's debating like whether to go up there and talk to Ned, right? And so he does decide eventually just to go and talk to Ned right there, and then he's talking to Ned, and then I guess he is about to leave, and then they do the handshake, right? They do the Ned Peter handshake, and then suddenly Ned just decides, or Ned just suddenly remembers, Peter and how him and Peter were best friends back in the day before Doctor Strange cast his spell at the end of Spider-Man. Was it No Way Home? Yeah, No Way Home or something like that. There, and I'm just not buying that right there because we had MJ, and obviously her and the rest of the world were impacted by Doctor Strange's spell, which was to make the world forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and then pretty much like just forget about Peter Parker, right? And but then suddenly, so MJ, in the course of the movie, even though she finds Peter's letter to her, with the sweet, sweet words and all that stuff, telling her that he loves her and that kind of thing. She basically just outright says, "Well, I don't know you, I can't remember you, so I can't love you," right? So obviously the spell's working fine and dandy on her, unfortunately for Peter, right? But then Ned, all they have to do is they have to do their handshake, and then suddenly Ned's like, Peter, and I'm just not buying it here with that. Like, okay, all it takes is a handshake to just break this spell. Like, apparently, Doctor Strange is slipping with his spells right there because it's not very powerful. Okay, and I've heard like all manner of explanations as far as why this happened. Okay, I've heard people like, well, Ned and No Way Home towards the end he cast a spell, and so he's got magic and that kind of thing. And well, that doesn't hold up because he didn't cast a spell. He used the sling ring from Doctor Strange to open up portals. That's not casting a spell. That's just using a sling ring to open up a portal. It's not a spell, right? And even though, I mean, okay, even if he did cast a spell, spells are specific, right? You cast a spell to, to have a chocolate cake appear in front of you, or you cast a spell, to make Cindy Sweetie your girlfriend or something like that, right? It's a specific thing you're casting a spell for. And so unless he casts a spell, listen, any Doctor Strange spell that he casts, let me circumvent that spell. Like, it would have to be something specific like that. But Ned never cast a spell in No Way Home. He just opened up portals. Okay, and so I'm not buying that one, not buying that excuse or that reasoning right there. But God bless the people that are coming up with these theories. It's fun to talk about, right? It's fun to kind of try to figure out, like, oh, I wonder how he could have remembered Peter after the handshake right there. And so people are just, putting their brains to work. The hamster wheels are spinning inside their brains, trying to figure out what would have caused that. And God bless them for it right there. Now, I guess, like, if the movie wants the audience to swallow the whole, the power of their friendship was stronger than a spell, narrative. Okay. It's cornier than Kansas on the 4th of July, but it's better than something, I guess, destructive in a Hallmark Channel kind of way. I mean, yes, it's sweet and it's saccharine and all of that stuff, like their friendship is just so strong, that all they had to do was shake hands and the magic spell was cut through and they remember it. Okay, that I will buy if later on, they come out, the director or the writers come out and say that's what it was all about. Then I'd be like, all right, yeah, it's pretty corny, but all right, I get it. I'll buy that. I'm not buying the spell thing, that Ned suddenly is like Gandalf at the end of, No Way Home, and no spells work, on him, or they do, but he can just like cut through them with a handshake. Nothing like that. So, but and that's fine, and people can interpret it the way that they want. That's for sure. So, but that's and again, that's just how I feel about that handshake. And I told you there's going to be spoilers in this episode, right? So there's a spoiler right there about Ned, remembering about the friendship and all of that right there. So, let's see here. We've got over here on the Rumble side in the live chat. Gunn keeps on making the same film over and over. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think, like, with Guardians of the Galaxy, okay, like when that came out, the original one came out in 2014. It was kind of fresh and new, right? Because you had good writing, you had great characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you had all the needle drops, right? Okay. So it's fresh and new, and kind of like this. All right. I mean, it's not like it was the first movie to have needle drops. I mean, has anybody ever seen Goodfellas? I mean, yeah, there's movies with needle drops in it. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2 came out. And it's like, all right, it's not as fresh, it's not as original, but hey, okay, it's still entertaining, And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out, and I'm like, me personally, I was like, all right, I'm over it. I get it. It's the same kind of formula, blah, 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 right? But I think with Superman, I think that, that's why Superman and Supergirl are so close together, because like James Gunn, he directed Superman. He didn't direct Supergirl, but he was, had a heavy effect on Supergirl here. He had a heavy hand on it right there. And so they're two movies that are meant to kind of crush the Superman and Supergirl mythos, right? To take these superheroes and make them not so super, okay? Make them about as super as the guy that makes the donuts down the street, right? So, well, maybe not that low, but because they could still fly around. They still have superpowers and all that stuff right there. But for some reason, guys like James Gunn think that, people want to see superheroes like brought down to a level where you're just not that impressed with them. You just like, they're so down to earth. They're annoying, right? And you don't want your superheroes to be annoying. You want your superheroes to be somebody like, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pumped up. I'm walking out of the movie theater, pumping my fist. Yeah, I mean, kind of like with the original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, right? Those movies were like, wow, look at this guy, man. He's saving people. He's flying. All right, he's kicking ass and taking names. He's taking down Zod and then and then I know this is going to be sacrilege to a lot of people, but even like the Superman Returns movie back in 2006 did the exact same thing. It was trying to be like a continuation of the Christopher Reeve movies, which was good because that movie also, it also portrayed Superman as this superhuman thing, right? The superhuman figure, okay, that Earth was grateful to have because he would rescue people. He'd stop planes from crashing. People fall off a skyscraper and whoosh, all of a sudden Superman's there to catch them, or Superman's there to save people from fires and that kind of thing. He was like, Superman was a badass. He was a cool dude. He was somebody that that the world was grateful for, right? But with James Gunn, he's just like, nope, I'm just going to take all that and just shit right all over it. Okay. And there's a group of people that I think appreciate that right there, but they are a very small group of people, and they just happen to be in the bubble that James Gunn lives in. Okay, like a lot of people in the L.A. area, they're all in the same bubble, and a lot of them are just like, and I'm not okay. So this answer, this assessment doesn't pertain to all creatives. But most creatives, they were the kind of kids that, unfortunately, yes, they did get pushed around in school and stuffed in the lockers. Not all of them, and so, a lot of them, they go into they write movies, they direct movies, they have something to do with movies and TV and all that stuff. And for a lot of them, in the back of their mind, it's payback time. Okay. It's payback time to like take down to do subversive stuff, right? To do subversive content and basically and take things that they know people enjoy, including the bullies that bullied them in high school, and subvert them and soil them, right? To taint them and that kind of thing. And so yes, they love that, and the rest of their creatives that were stuffed in the lockers and had wedgies and all that stuff on them in high school. And I'm not saying that was right that they went through that. That's bullying's not cool. All right, I get that, but also what they're doing with pop culture and all of that stuff is not cool whatsoever. It's like, work out your issues like outside of your job. Leave that shit like at the front door of where you work. Okay, all right. So if make things that inspire people, right? And that's what those Christopher Reeve movies did back in the 70s, is they inspired people. I mean, like Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. inspired people. It got people pumped up. They're like, just, oh yeah. Like, at the end of Iron Man in 2008, when he looks at the camera, he goes, I am Iron Man. Okay. You're like, whoa, did he just say that? And you walked out of the movie theater saying, man, that was a fucking great movie, man. It was awesome, And do you do that with Superman and Supergirl? Not really, unless you're part of that James Gunn bubble. Okay. No, not at all. So right here. But yeah, no, I'm glad you said that there. And on the live chat on the Rumble side right there. And yeah, Ned used a sling ring. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Not. Yeah, he's actually. Yeah, next thing they'll say is, well, he's actually the Hobgoblin. That's how he remembers there. And then Bane of the Shills is, James Gunn is obsessed with niche characters and dorky comedy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, and that worked with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I didn't read comics that much when I was a kid, so I didn't know who Star-Lord was. And Rocket Raccoon, I didn't know, but James Gunn, to his credit, and because I'm pretty sure he wrote Guardians of the Galaxy 2, to his credit, he made those characters cool. Okay, so just because James Gunn is a putz right now lately, I will give him his flowers back in 2014 when he came out with the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Like a chef's kiss. All right, great movie, fantastic movie. Okay, there. Also, his the Suicide Squad movie that he came out with, fantastic movie. Far too underseen movie. Watch the Suicide Squad movie. Okay, not Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad movie. Absolutely check that out right there. So, all right, let's double check here. I want to make sure in the YouTube side we're good to go. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on there, and I think we're good. Yes, I do want Sydney Sweeney. I'd be a fool not to want Sydney Sweeney, that's for sure. So yes, absolutely. So, all right, what else can we get into here before we do this? Let's move on.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
All right. And one thing also that doesn't sit right with me, and I know this seems like, man, you're kind of crapping on this Spider-Man Brand New Day movie here quite a bit there, Van. But no, I did like the movie, okay, but I'm sure I'm not giving off that impression right now. I liked the movie. The action was good. I liked the vibe of it. All right, I like the aura of it, as gay as that sounds, right there. I did like that. Okay, I mean, it's. I was saying to somebody the other day, we were talking about this movie, and I was saying like, there's some parts of the second act where someone told me that David Fincher, the same guy who did The Social Network and Fight Club and Seven, and someone told me that David Fincher directed some of the scenes in the second act. I would not be surprised. Okay, and that's a good thing, right? That's a damn good thing there. So I do like this movie. I liked the emotion that was in the movie between Peter and MJ and Ned. I do like that. I like it took a little bit getting used to, but PG-13 Punisher. I think that Jon Bernthal basically playing Jon Bernthal playing the Punisher. Okay, as he does in all his movies, was good in this, but I wasn't a big fan of some parts of the antagonist. The bad guy, or in this case, the bad girl, right? And we all know by now that Jean Grey is the antagonist in the movie, or the main antagonist, because we have like Scorpion and Tombstone and some other baddies from the Spider-Man universe in this, but they're in the movie. Those guys are in the movie for about 0.03 seconds, right? Where Jean Grey has a prominent role right here, and she's played by Sadie Sink from, of course, from the Stranger Things. Okay, and the one thing that didn't sit well with me, and apparently I'm not alone, because as I was researching for this episode, I was seeing plenty of people that were sharing the same sentiment, the same unease that I'm about to share with you. And that unease is where Jean Grey was trying to kill people, like innocent people, when she was trying to find her sister. Okay. Now, that's not a Jean Grey that I know. Okay. Now, the Jean Grey I know, though, is like the Jean Grey from the movies right there, because, like I said, I didn't read the comics. Now, I have, read like a synopsis of like what Jean Grey was in the comics. And it sounds like in the comics, she wasn't a baddie in the comics either, until this Dark Phoenix entity got a hold of her, right? And made Jean Grey do some evil things, right? But outside of that, she was like a good guy or good gal, right? And so in the comics, she was pretty much a good gal. In the movies, she's pretty much a good gal here. But in the beginning of Spider-Man Brand New Day, I mean, she again is just trying to find her sister, and she's doing stuff like she's getting in the mind of like a dude. It was, for one example, gets into a mind of like one dude, and then has that guy walk out in the middle of the street to almost get run over. And I can think like Spider-Man like saves the guy, or some must have, right? Because yeah, this guy was right in the middle of the street and he would have got ran over. And that the only reason he was out in the street is because Jean Grey was occupying his mind. And then she's got, this, housewife, school secretary, whoever, like, driving the tank to damage control. And she's using, what the 30 millimeter or the 50 cal gun that's on the tank, and she's shooting up windows and buildings and all that stuff, right? And there's people in those buildings, right? So some poor schmuck, he's in one of those office buildings, and he's getting coffee in the office lounge, and next thing you know, he's basically peppered with 50 cal rounds, and basically just splitting them in half. Okay, all these people dying, blood all over the place, right? It's like, so. And I've also heard people online like, well, there's no people in those buildings. What? It's the middle of the workday. How could there not be people in those buildings? It's Midtown New York. Of course, there's people in those buildings. All right, they got 50 cal rounds or whatever caliber rounds they are, like spraying into the windows of these buildings, and you're telling me nobody died? Okay, so Jean Grey is prepared to run a guy over, kill people with machine gun fire in all these office buildings here. Um, she's also doing things like she's willing to like kill MJ by dropping MJ off a building, and Spider-Man has to rescue her, right? And this is at the part where, okay, so when I've mentioned this, I've had people come back and be like, well, damage control killed her sister. No, because of that part of the movie, all she knew was that damage control abducted her sister. She didn't know that her sister was dead. Didn't know her sister was dead until she got captured herself, and damage control was interrogating her. Up until that point, when she was, when she was killing people in office buildings and getting old guys run over and dropping MJ off a roof, there she just knew that her sister had gotten abducted. That was it. Okay, so I'm not buying that. Well, she knew that she thought she knew her sister was dead. Okay, or had been murdered at that point. Okay, and also, people have told me, well, she's going through emotional problems. Since when is going through emotional problems rationalization for murdering people? That sounds like that kind of liberal thinking, like, well, it's okay for some gangbanger, to basically go out there and smoke, a bunch of people because, he didn't have a very good library, near his home, and his dad went out, said he was going out for a pack of smokes and never came back. And he had a lot of emotional problems. And so, yeah, if some gangbanger wants to, grab a Mac 10 and just basically mow down a bunch of innocent people, well, it's okay because he's got emotional problems. Like that's the same thing as saying that, right? That's ludicrous. That's moronic right there. Okay. So, no, that's not rationalization for, what happens at the end with Jean Grey, where basically Spider-Man just goes, oh, you want to just kind of just take off out of town and just just kind of want to decompress after all the people you murdered and all the chaos and whatnot. No, please, Jean Grey, please. Hey, matter of fact, I'll drop you off at the bus station and you can go and find some solace for a little bit, recharge, refresh your batteries, and come back stronger than ever before. There, Jean Grey. Like, no, doesn't make sense to me. Right? Whatnot. Right there. So yeah, right. I'm only joking. Emotional damage. Exactly, right there. And then the old guy. Yeah, well, there's an old guy in the end credit scene, right? And that's like I think that from what I've heard, that's the same old guy. That almost got run over. But you got to think like the only reason the old guy didn't get run over is not because of anything that Jean Grey did. It's because Spider-Man must have saved him or something. I'm assuming Spider-Man saved him. There. Otherwise, that guy would have been roadkill. Thanks to Jean Grey right there. Okay, so, but real quick, hey, I got some, I want to do this here. I think that some other people have something to say about this, what I'm talking about right here. So let me real quick reset that up real quick here. There you go, because I want to get this going on and share this with you. So let's do this here. Get that going on. Because, yeah, it's like I'm not the only one talking about Jean Grey and having this dialogue and these thoughts and this perspective and that kind of thing. So, but let's see let's get another perspective because, yeah, we don't want to just listen to me, right? Just there's other people out in the world just listening to me talk about it. It's boring, right? Let's liven it up a little bit. What do you say? There we go. Let's do it.
So, you got a new Spider-Man movie for me? Brand new day.
Oh, let's skip the small talk if you don't mind. I want to hear about this movie.
Okay.
So this is going to take place 4 years after Doctor Strange made everybody forget Peter Parker because Tobey Maguire's presence was going to ruin everything or something. I've heard that he has that effect on people. So what's Peter been up to? Well, he's just going to be all in on being Spider-Man. He's fighting local crime in New York like he's fighting Scorpion and Tombstone.
Oh, Scorpion and Tombstone are going to be in this, huh? What are they going to do?
Be in it just enough so we can feature them them in the trailer. That's perfect! But you know what? I think it's going to be refreshing to have Spider-Man on the street again, you know, after all the cosmic and wizarding magical stuff he's been through. Hey, that's the great thing about green screen and CGI, so we can do whatever we want. Actually, I was thinking we do a lot more practical stuff. Have a human in the suit a lot of the time, but computers can do that. But I'm thinking maybe they shouldn't all the time. Maybe this one can feel like less of Adobe After Effects composition than the other ones. You sound crazy, man, but all right, we'll try it. Oh, and also we're gonna have Black Widow in this a little bit. You know, Florence Pugh. Oh, what's she doing here? Well, nobody went to see her Thunderbolts movie, so we gotta let the general public know that the new Avengers are a thing before Doomsday comes out. Got it. Oh, and also he's gonna work with the Punisher sometimes, and they have very different methods, so it's fun. You know, Spider-Man's more wholesome. Punisher, he does, you know, brutal killings. Oh, he does do that quite often. He's taken so many lives. But he's a big old goofball, too. So Peter and him team up to fight this telepath that seems to control people and do bad guy stuff. Oh, very scary and intense. At a certain point, this telepath makes an old man step in front of a car. Whoa. Yeah. If that car was moving, that could have been awful. No, it was moving. Oh, my God. Yeah, this friggin' telepath is ruthless. And Peter finds out that they keep attacking the Department of Damage Control looking for something called VMAX. Ooh, is that like a workout supplement? No. Is this a jacked mind control person? Is this Chris Angel? It's not Chris Angel, no. And the Department of Damage Control wants Peter to kind of take care of this because he seems to be immune. Hasn't the Department of Damage Control been pretty uncool to Peter in the past? Yeah, but he trusts them wholeheartedly and gets right on the case for them. A very trusting Spider-Man. And meanwhile, Peter's also going through some changes. Ah, well, it's about time. I was starting to get a little worried. It's gonna be weird to hear him with a deep voice. Actually, he seems to be kind of mutating into more of a spider and less of a Peter. He's got heightened senses. He's got organic web stuff oozing out of him. Having new stuff ooze out of you is tight. But he can't really seem to actually control this. It's becoming kind of a problem. He accidentally injures a cop. Oh, sounds like maybe he needs to make a little device to block the spider stuff. Inhibitor. Any bitter too? Whoosh, jeez. No, I said inhibitor. It makes him less of a spider. Nah, I would say that biting someone is very spider-like. He definitely needs some kind of little device now. Yeah, good idea. I'm very good at this. Anyway, eventually we're gonna find out that this telepath is actually Jean Grey. She's from X-Men Apocalypse. She is, amongst other things. Wow, Spider-Man must freak out. No, because he hasn't seen the X-Men movies. Right. So yeah, obviously this is kind of a big thing. We're really bringing the X-Men into the MCU here. Oh yeah. So who do you think we should get to play this part? Oh, we could just pull the same move as last time. Grab the redhead from whatever TV show has been recently popular with young adults. I mean, we don't need to cast a natural redhead. We could dye anyone's hair red and get canceled. No, thank you. That probably would happen. I refuse to have any imagination on this point. Sadie Sink it is. So she starts targeting Peter since he's working for damage control, and she can't get inside his head. So she's like, what's going on there? Because he's all gooed up with spider webs in there. That's where he stores that stuff. No, so she freaking mind controls the Punisher and the Hulk and MJ. She's just attacking Peter from all angles. Does she make MJ punch him or something? No, that one was more of a psychological attack. She takes over MJ, kisses Peter, acts like the kiss brought back her memory, then laughs at Peter, then as MJ jumps off a building, so he has to rush and save her. Jeez! But we're gonna find out she's actually trying to find her sister who was taken by damage control. Still, is that not fully redemptive? Uh-oh, that might come back to bite me later. I feel like if she had just mentioned that she's trying to rescue her sister, this whole thing could have been avoided. Yeah, but the movie has to happen, so she's gonna keep her entire life's purpose as a little secret just for herself. Fair enough. Oh, and then also MJ finds this love letter that Peter wrote to her, but she's like, well, I don't love you because I don't know you. Super selfish of her, very disappointing behavior. And then some more bad stuff's gonna happen. We're gonna find out that VMAX isn't actually a protein powder, but rather a sticker, and it's the last thing that Jean's sister saw before she died at damage control. Oh my god, I bet Jean's gonna be pissed when she finds that out. She is! I bet. She gets so angry and powerful, she freezes a bunch of people inside a big radius like old senile Professor X. Uh-oh. And she mind controls some ninjas to attack Peter, and he's gonna have to fully embrace his new mutations if he wants to beat them. Is that gonna be hard to do? Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, see, it's pretty much the end of the movie, and he really wants to now. Well, great! And then Peter lets Jean inside his head, and she is just absolutely moved by seeing Aunt May, so she decides to be a good guy now. Was she not moved by the stuff she saw in the Punisher's mind or the Hulk's mind? They've been through some stuff. Yeah, well, the thing is, their memories didn't star Marissa Tomei. That's a fair point. I didn't consider that. So Peter's like, Jean, you're not a killer. Yes, she is. No, she's not. She made an old guy walk in front of a car. Well, we don't know that guy died for sure. Still, she's just not a killer. She just doesn't have it in her. She made MJ jump off a building. Didn't die. Redemption arc complete. Now get all the way off my back about it. All right. Let me remove myself from your backside. Oh, don't say that way. So how does the movie end? Well, Jean lets everybody go, but Frank had freaking already fired a sniper rifle at her, so Spider-Man jumps in front of the bullet. He steps in front of a bullet. That kind of thing will get you shot where I'm from. Yeah, that's how that works everywhere. So Punisher carries Spider-Man to the hospital and then stays by his side, and it's kind of sweet. Isn't the Punisher like a super wanted fugitive? He just carries Spider-Man into a hospital and hangs out for a while? He does, and then he helps Spider-Man escape by dressing up like him and grunting like a gorilla. What? It's Jon Bernthal. He's got a grunt somewhere in the script. It's in his contract. Right. And so that's about it. Oh, also a post-credit scene. We're going to see there's this spider tracker that Ned made, and it shows that Spider-Man's in outer space. What? Avengers, anyone? Wait, so the Spider-Man tracker actually has a tracker on Spider-Man? No, it just works with like reported sightings of Spider-Man. So we're saying that someone reported that they saw Spider-Man in outer space? Hey, shut up. So what do you think? Well, listen, let me put it this way. It doesn't even really matter what I say here. It's gonna smash cut to an article about how successful this movie was. What are you talking about?
There we go. Absolutely. So yeah, apparently they had thoughts about Jean Grey on there as well. So I thought it was funny. It's like, hey, character arc completed. All right, retribution. Yeah, like that arc. What's the word? What was the word you used? Redemption arc. That's it. Redemption arc completed. All right, just swallow it. All right, just swallow it. Just swallow whatever I give you. All right, that sounded bad. All right, but yeah. Anyway, so I thought that you should hear from another perspective on this movie right there for some balance, okay? Because that's what we are here on Movies Merica. We're fair and balanced. All right, we report, you decide, and I totally made that up. Totally original. No one's ever used that before. All right, moving on here.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Real quick here, just let me remind you that actually, just like every YouTube or Rumble show, there's this thing called the like button. And if you would hit that like button right on down there, that would be fantastic. And then also there is the subscribe or follow button. And that is also right on down there in a little button avenue. And click on that if you haven't already. If you already have, don't click on it again. Otherwise, you'll unfollow or unsubscribe. And then there's the notification bell button down there as well. If you would click on that, if you haven't clicked on that already as well. And then real quick, let me talk to the viewers of this episode that didn't have a chance to watch live. Okay, maybe you're behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, or you're making delicious chocolate chip cookies. And if you are, can I have some? Yes. So, point is, you're too busy to watch this show live, okay? And you're watching the episode, as the recording of the episode is what I'm trying to say. Well, first off, thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate that. And second of all, we can still communicate with each other, okay? We're just going to have to do it via the comments section. And the comment section is right on down below right there as well. So yeah, let me know, what you think of the show in the comment section. Did you hate it? Do you hate it? Do you love the show? Somewhere in between. So yeah, give me your love, your hate, your death threats, whatever you want there. And I do check the comments. Okay. I'm not some wuss who's afraid of getting in the comments and going, oh, somebody said something mean about me. No, I read the comments and I love it. And just let you know, even if you get in the comments and you call me a putz or whatever, that's still engagement for more right here. So thank you. Keep the insults coming, because that's engagement for this guy right here. Okay. But with that, let's move on.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Okay, just double checking something here real quick. And all right, I think we're good to go. And I think we have a little treat here, because our special guest, I believe, has arrived here. And I want to bring up our special guest here, Bane of the Shills. So let's get in here. Let's make this a duo here going on, and let's bring him up there, and let's do this. All right, there we go. Let's get in here, and all right, let's get that presentation there. Let's do the background. Let's get that going on. Interesting. I don't know if you're still there, Bane. Where'd it go? Get that going on. All right, let's see here. There we go. Interesting. Okay. Well, we might have. Let's do this here. So let's do that. Okay. And Bane, I don't know if you're there or not, if you can hear me. I think you might be muted. We'll make this happen somehow. Nope.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you on the screen here. So let me do that and get you in duo mode and see if I can.
Make sure you added me to the stage. I'm sure you probably did, but
Yeah, see you down there. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe even behind. Are you using the new version of Rumble Studio or the old one?
I think this is the new version of Rumble Studio here. So
Yeah, you got to kind of mess with it. I'm used to being the one hosting the stream, so it's different on the back end when you're not the person that's doing it. So
yeah, let's see right here. So yeah, usually I could just hit like add to stage and that's it. But I don't even see a add to stage option right here. So this might get really. What is going on here?
now you're muted out, or at least on my end. You're on mute. You know what I can try to do? I can leave the studio and come back in. You want me to do that?
Still can't unmute. There we go. Okay. Finally. Okay. I think I'm unmuted now. Finally let me unmute myself. So then let's see. do this camera. All right, and then I'm going to try to do this here, Bane, and try to bring it up.
Can you still hear me on the audio?
I can, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this. So Bane, when you're trying to bring somebody up here, do you?
Usually I'll switch it to another scene because you have the different presentation scenes, and usually you just got to go to one of the ones that have multiple cameras listed, and then just add the person to the stage, and they usually pop right on.
Yeah, it's like right because I'm used to when someone shows up in the backstage, I could just click on the ellipsis, and there's like an add to stage, and there's no add to stage option there for you. For some reason, I'm the admin on here, so I've got authority to put you up there to get you on stage here. Let's see, try some different things here. All right, background. Nope. Okay. Well, this might be over before it begins.
Yeah, live or die by the tech.
Well, we're getting rid of Rumble Studio here. Actually, I think this is going to be the last show that I'll use Rumble Studio on. We're going to StreamYard. And so
I don't like StreamYard.
Going to go out with a bang.
They kind of ream you, but yeah, it is what it is. Let me do this here. I got an idea.
You bet.
Let me see. Let's go to.
I'm going to go to old Google.
Watch this.
Okay.
Shit. There we go.
Oops.
There. Just share screen that. And then just put us half and half. See if you can do half, or just do a share screen and go to a presentation. See if it'll pop it up.
See here.
Just do one of the ones. Yeah, there you go. Now, can you do it to where we're the same size?
See here. Nope. Okay. So the presentation.
That way you're not like minimized, or you can minimize me and maximize yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Because they're just like bigger. Whoops.
There should be one where like both the screens look the same. You click it, but I don't know.
Click Duo, and that's the one where if you click it, it makes everything the same size. But...
Okay, so if you go back to the one where you showed my share screen. Okay, now click your picture and move, hold the mouse and move it over to where mine's at, and it'll flip us around to where you're I'm just smaller than you. Should do that. No?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, moving my picture around here. It's not
doing it.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to try this. Require approval. Nope. Participants. Promote to moderator. Nope.
Have you tried auto?
I have tried that. I've tried all the presentations. I've done background, auto, solo, duo, presentation. Every single one of them. It is just not. Let you add right there, and it's set to. You don't need my approval. We've got that set up here with the managed participants here to where approval is not required. Here we go. This is so stupid. Okay, so I just accepted you in the waiting room. So suddenly in the waiting room, there was a reject or accept option that wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, I had got that too. Now, when you do that, like the next time, if you have a guest again, you won't have to do that again. I had to do that because I had a stream with a bunch of people on, and I had to accept everybody.
Okay. So let me do. Okay.
So maybe you can just add me now. No.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. Promote. Okay. Still won't. Okay. Let's see here. Promote the moderator. Okay. So in the waiting room. Okay. So yeah, it gave me the approve option. I approved you there. And then, okay. So then I would think that should be able to go to Duo and it adds you there, but that's not working. So let me just try to move you up here. I'm trying to drag your participant window up, but no, that is not working either.
Got to do better, Rumble. Got to do
Yep,
better.
I'm glad.
I love trying to promote the
glad we're getting rid
platform,
of it.
but this kind of shit happens a lot.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's permanent. Yeah, I've got pretty much all kinds of options except for add to stage right there. I got mute, permanent mute, kick, promote the moderator, and it is just not.
Well, it's all good. We can wing it. I don't need to be seen. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly right there. But yeah, let me get back to the presentation here, and I can at least we'll have you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Right there. So let's do
you
that.
You may be able to raise. Can you try to enlarge yours if you like kind of drag it up, or no, it won't let you?
Let's try to drag it up. Yeah. So okay. So that's
because I know sometimes it'll let you when you're doing presentation. You can make your window bigger. No.
Yeah. Let's see here. So
we don't want to minimize the the person running the show.
Yeah. I'm trying to move it here, and yeah, it's just see if I can background. I'm gonna try background. That's background. That's auto. That's solo. That's duo.
Yeah.
And presentation. Presentation is the only one that
Not
does anything right there. So, but all right. Well, I think we're just gonna have to deal with that. Is there any way, like, you see that bottom thing on the bottom right of yours, so like just to make your BaneOfTheShills like full screen? Is that looking any better?
Whoa.
Well, like at the very far bottom right, you've got the two arrows.
There we go.
Oh, that's yeah.
Well, let me do this. Hold on. Let me zoom out.
There we go. That looks tight, man. That looks good.
Is that better? Okay, there we go.
That looks much better right there.
Nice,
So
okay.
yeah, okay. So
sweet.
Okay, there we go. That works. That works right there. All right. Well, all right. There we go. It's fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna try to press on and act like none of that happened.
Exactly.
So we go like in a toast to Rumble Studio, not
exactly.
But Bane, all that considered, hey, I appreciate you being willing to jump on and hang out here on the show there as well. So, and I'm just kind of curious, like, what did you think of that whole Jean Grey portrayal there in the movie? And I said, assuming you've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah, so I always sail the high seas. I'm kind of done. I went from the person that was pre-ordering the tickets and bringing my family to every Marvel movie, and slowly, like, then it was less and less of an urgency, and then just all of a sudden just stop going to the theater in general. Wow. Even Endgame. Now Endgame I watched a bunch of times, but it has so much nostalgia bait in it, and who didn't want to see Cap with Mjolnir and the three of them fighting Thanos and all that stuff, right? So but yeah, so I mean, I watched it. I watched it a couple times. My initial rating, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I know people would think that's harsh. The Jean Grey shit I had talked about before the movie even came out, because there was always the rumors, and I'm constantly trolling the fake pooper scoopers and all the, hey, this and that, people that throw a bunch of shit on the wall and then they say, hey, look, I got this right. I'm like Nostradamus.
Right.
So I actually fan casted a bunch of X-Men back when I had my original YouTube channel, which was Star Wars Marvel Purist, before I got deplatformed. And the Sadie Sink was one of the characters I did fan cast as Jean Grey. And I think that's before any of the rumors came out. It may have been like coincided when they started coming out, but I was late to the party on Stranger Things. So when I watched that with my wife, we like binged watched most of it. And, I'm like, oh yeah, she may be good, but, and then we watched that Whale movie with her and, Brendan Fraser or whatever. Yeah, she showed some range in that. So anyway, but at the end of the day, I wanted her not to be Jean Grey, one, because I knew it narratively was going to fuck the whole story up. Sure. Unless they had other X-Men in there, like Professor X. Like, you can't have the type of feat she's pulling off telepathically without like Professor X being aware of it.
Right.
And but at the end of the day, I was hoping she'd be like Firestar from like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, or Gwen Stacy or something. Because she has red hair doesn't
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Gwen would be perfect.
I mean, generally, redheads get turned into black people, in modern day, pop culture stuff. So you never know. She could have been. Cast to be Lupita Nyong'o, could have been
right. Exactly.
But yeah, I knew it was going to narratively kind of mess the whole story up if she was the villain. Like, there's other villains they could have. They just cast Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, which I think is an A+ casting.
Oh yeah,
Emma
yeah,
Frost.
Samara Weaving's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've seen her in Ready or Not and some other stuff that she's done. She's got good acting chops, right? So, but they could have done Emma Frost and not had to do a bunch of explaining of why this and why that, and all, because she's just a villain. They could have used a character like the Shadow King, who's like a telepath as powerful as like Professor X, if not a little more.
Sure.
They could have used Mr. Negative, but his powers are a little different because he has to like touch people to manipulate them, and it would make it, the body jumping scenes, a little harder to do because that's not how his powers work. But they're always changing shit anyways. And then the villain could have been the Purple Man, and the Purple Man could have maybe had control of Jean Grey, or because she doesn't have control of her mutant abilities yet.
You're talking about Barney?
Use them, huh?
The Purple Man.
The Purple Man was the villain in Jessica Jones season 1.
Oh, okay.
But he's also been in the comics. He was also in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, in an arc they did where Tony Stark, like, it was a utopian society ruled by Tony Stark and shit like that in the cartoons. So, but total mind control villain too. So there's plenty of things they could have done, but this movie was more of a, hey, we know everyone's going to go watch Spider-Man no matter what we do. So let's use this to preview our beginning of our X-Men universe, is kind of like the take I got on it. Ironically enough, the storyline of body hopping, the way they did it, and there's exact scenes that totally plagiarize it, is from Fallen with John Goodman and Denzel Washington.
Right. Yep, exactly.
And the villain is a demon, guys. So yes, let's compare Jean Grey to a demon in another movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was getting. I was getting Fallen vibes. Yeah, from her possessing people.
Yeah, I mean, you have parts where they walk by, look, and smile that are like picked right out of that movie. Like, all they did is like face swap people, right? Sure. So that was kind of it. It took me out of the whole movie, right? And then you add and I had the same problem with Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine was fun, and I can see why people like this movie. I can know why. It's Spider-Man, right? Sure. X-Men like Spider-Man. I've been saying since I created my other channel, 2.5 years ago. X-Men, almost 3 years ago, the X-Men is a mulligan, really, like, for this whole all new, all different bullshit that they tried to pull. There are some fans, obviously, that are never going to come back. People like myself are probably never going to go populate the theater to watch an MCU movie again. Sure. But you'd be able to pull a lot of people back with the X-Men because there's so many characters and stories that haven't even been touched. They're not doing a good job of starting that. I don't know if you saw, they just cast Cyclops, and he's like some twink freaking dude that was in some like kiddie show or something, really? On Netflix or something like that. Yeah. So that's odd. But
James Marsden played him in the X-Men movies. So, but now,
but I'm talking about self-proclaimed quote unquote bisexual and all this shit. Oh, so they're doing that crap. It's like, dude,
not learning their lesson, man.
Yeah, you're not learning the lesson. Just do some normal castings, and you'll be all good. So, I'm
sure they're making Christopher Nolan very proud.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, but the movie does a lot of good things, and then it also does just things that are just weird, right? Like, and I don't even like to like I ripped apart Star Wars Acolyte. We called it the Wokealite, and I never really went for the narrative that it's woke and it's Leslie Headland and all. Like, I mean, I would poke fun at that, but that was all like low hanging fruit, right? So I matched it up with like Star Wars lore and the prequels, and how they were trying to bastardize the prequels. And then use it to firm up like the sequel trilogy, TCW and stuff that's, essentially Disney Star Wars. So kind of the same way here. I don't even really have to attack the woke elements, but they're definitely there. Like Metzger is a race swap. DeWolf's a race swap. and there's another race swap in there too that I'm not thinking off the top of my head. So they did some stuff like that. But like I was saying with the Deadpool and Wolverine, the addition of the Florence Pugh scenes and all that, that takes you right out the movie again too. And the scene's just stupid. And I don't care about the, oh, she told him. Imagine if a guy told a girl. Like, I don't really care. Like, if a woman tells a dude to jump in naked in a spa, they're gonna do it. So like, who cares? Like, just getting that point, like, doesn't really matter.
Well, they explain it because she wants to know that he's doesn't have a bug or a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. So people that are whining about that, it's like, who cares? I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, they provide an explanation for that.
Yeah, the fact of having her in there and the small potatoes and the big potatoes, it's like you're trying to subvert Spider-Man, even though we all know the crowd's supposed to laugh at her knowing she's an idiot, right? But at the same time, it just doesn't do it. It's kind of like the Deadpool and Wolverine. That opening scene's great, but then they throw the TVA in there, and that like pulls you right out the fucking movie, you know. And and that's the problem, is trying to not have people have to worry about that shit. So that's why I just couldn't like get into the. And I was shocked because my wife and my daughter kind of parted ways with the MCU when Ms. Marvel came out, even though she was its target audience, because it started clowning on Thor, which is her favorite character, and like how Captain Marvel was so awesome. So she's like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, my other daughter jumped out at Loki season 4 or season 1, like episode 4. So my kids were kind of like done with the shit, but I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
But,
well, I noticed that they do that here. I'll give you a second here, but yeah, I noticed that they try to elevate the women characters here, but they do it at the expense of the male characters. Right there, it's a zero-sum game to them. It's like, why not just have the female superheroes like do cool, heroic, admirable stuff? You don't and just forego the shitting on the male characters. Like, you don't have to do that, but it's almost but when they do that, it just comes off as like, this is retribution. The writers, are thinking about some ex-boyfriend or whatever that screwed them over and stuff like that. So they're coming in there with that feminazi energy doing that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's like it's part of like the problem. And that's the thing with the X-Men. You don't have to do that. Like, the female characters are awesome and the male characters are. So they don't really need to one up each other. And they started doing that towards the end of the X-Men franchise too, with the Dark Phoenix, which is a total dumpster fire. With the all the women are the ones doing stuff around here, with the good old Jennifer Lawrence, who's a shitty Mystique. And Mystique's also a villain, not a hero. But so that was another thing that kind of took me out. Now, they did a lot of cool creative shit. It kind of irritated me, and I know what they were going for, because they were kind of using like The Other, which was a storyline by Straczynski, I think, in like mid 2000s or something like that. It was kind of like a hybrid between that and the Man Thing from like the 80s, or the Man Spider from the 80s. But adding the organic webbing back, like, that was one of the things I was really excited for when you got the first iteration of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, using the web shooters and making them and all that, because that would become an issue in certain comics and stuff like that, where they get damaged or he runs out of fluid or, whatever it may be. Sure. And in the beginning of this movie, they actually do creative shit where he like discharges them and the web bomb like explodes and catches the fucking tank or, whatever. So they were doing a lot of unique stuff like that. But in the end, it's like, no, let's get rid of that. And we're going to go back to the organic webbing, which I understand it's a Raimi thing. I love the Raimi movies, and I love Sam Raimi in general. So that's something that I didn't mind, but it was refreshing when you got the web shooters back and in Amazing Spider-Man, and like to ditch them again and then go back to the organic. It's just kind of irritating, And then the AI in this was a total plot, like, exposition dump for the movie, right? Like, they constantly were using the AI to hold the audience's hand and explain each and everything that was going on. The AI program.
Yeah, he's got that it's kind of like Jarvis.
Yeah, you are molding like a spider, like, into another phase of your life, and it's like, just like, yeah, we get it, like,
right, yeah.
So, there is a crime being committed by the Scorpion. Go handle that. Like, I don't know. It's just
that's right. Oh yeah, you're talking about the app on the phone.
Yeah, just all his stuff was just, like the gadgets and stuff. Because again, he's supposed to be broke, starting over again. Like, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with like him getting information from like Bruce Banner about like the inhibitor chip and then making the universal one.
Sure.
I did have a problem with MJ being the one to figure out the overheating problem on the inhibitor chip. Like he wouldn't really need MJ's help, like especially in the comics. Like,
Oh yeah, exactly.
really
It's like Ray Skywalker. I bypassed
you bypass the compressor.
the thing. In Force Awakens. Like, well, I gotta have a girl boss moment there. So yeah,
exactly. So,
stupid man. It takes a woman to figure it out.
But they're okay. It's obvious. Like, hey, we're gonna turn the universal inhibitor into like mutant collars, like in the future. Like that's kind of
right, exactly. Yeah, him and Bruce Banner are kind of laying the foundation for that. Yep.
Yeah, so that's fine. Like they did something. The ending of the movie, I didn't really have too much of a problem. Well, I had a problem with Punisher hanging out at the fucking hospital when he's a vigilante that the cops would want to fucking arrest. They used the scene from the comics of him carrying Spider-Man into the hospital, so that's why they did that. But he would like get out of there immediately, especially if he knows Jean Grey's breathing for him and doing all this shit. There's no reason.
If I'm gonna bitch about Jean getting away with crimes and all that stuff, I got to bitch about Frank Castle too. So
hanging out, and it's like you had brought up a good point. Jon Bernthal plays a good Bernthal in the Punishers here, because that's kind of the way I felt. Like I love season 1 of the Punisher Netflix. I mean, I had boycotted Netflix from back when they split the streaming and the mailing you the CD shit back in the day, because they started double charging. So like, fuck Netflix, right? I didn't even watch Daredevil or any of that. But when that Punisher trailer dropped for Netflix season 1 to Metallica with the gunshots, it's like, oh, bro, I guess I'm gonna get Netflix and watch this shit.
Yeah, I gotta give this a look. See, give it a chance.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. And it's obviously it's an expansion off the the story from Daredevil season 2. So that's fine and all that, but I really didn't like season 2 because he lets the preacher dude go. That he would have killed his ass. Like the Punisher doesn't feel sympathetic for villains and be like, oh, this guy's a child molester because of this. Oh well, like no, he would just murder his ass. Like that's just the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does. He issues up punishment. So.
Yeah, and he continues to just be like cucked in the MCU. Like a lot of people were like, oh my god, one last kill, but it was a lot of him just crying like a baby for like 30 minutes. And then you get some cool Punisher shit at the end. But it's like cool Punisher shit we already saw with Punisher Warzone with Ray Stevenson,
right? Yeah,
in Punisher comics. So, I mean, there was some good stuff with them back and forth too. But then you have, you've got Zendaya like, oh, this is your family, and him just like I don't know. It was just kind of corny. I hate to be like overcritical because again, it's not. This is far and beyond better than anything they've done since like Endgame, except for I would argue like X-Men 97's been pretty good, like on the animation side. But yeah, I just, these are certain like fundamental things. When Jean Grey has a worse, and the Punisher has a moral code, he definitely does.
Not going to hurt innocent women and children.
Yeah, he doesn't at all. Yeah, not at all. But Jean Grey, like, was, again, like you had alluded to in the beginning of your stream, she's got people walking onto incoming traffic. She's got people swan diving off fucking buildings, blowing tanks up into buildings and shit. And she just wouldn't do that regardless of, and the sister is so niche in the comics. She appears in like less than a handful of comics.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, the Sarah lore isn't really there, so but they just use it as their excuse to make her have this, There's a reason why George Lucas Star Wars is great, regardless of what people think about the prequels and the original trilogy. I love them both. There's a delineation between good and evil, right? And that's what we need to get back to. Like my old channel symbol is half Vader's helmet, half Magneto. That's because both of those are two complicated characters, but at the end of the day, they're both villains, right? And they're both tragic villains that are complicated. But now it's like every villain's got to have an explanation, and every villain's got to have. And those were the exceptions. Yeah, those were the exceptions to the rules in the in the 70s. Like
exactly, Like every villain, they're just
their mom dropped them on their head and gold. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I mean, it's kind of like Loki. Loki was like just a straight up bad guy in the first Avengers movie. And I haven't seen any of the Loki TV series, and correct me if I'm wrong if you've seen it, but I get the impression that now they've made Loki they've kind of rationalized what he did and the crimes he committed. And
he literally cries watching what the events of like the phases 1 through 3. And then they mock the Infinity Stones as paperweights in the TVA and shit. Yeah, it's terrible, dude. Like I said, my oldest daughter, massive Loki fan, and she loved his portrayal in Avengers and in the Thor movies. And yeah, she like literally stopped watching Loki like about halfway through the season. So.
Yeah, it's to me. I mean, I watch TV series and whatnot, but like just Marvel and then Star Wars for that matter. Going to TV series, to me, it kind of like it's just not. It kind of loses its prestige when it goes to TV and it leaves the big screen. I mean, what Star Wars hasn't come out with a big screen presentation since what 2019. Well, no, I guess they just
now they just did Grogu, but yeah, that was trash
right there. But that's like just. Aldi's Foods Star Wars right there. Okay,
exactly.
I don't mean to knock Aldi's. I like Aldi's and whatnot. So I guess I shouldn't use Aldi's the good name of Aldi and besmirch that by staining it with the Star Wars name. But
yeah, fake Star Wars has done a lot of damage. That's for damn sure.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, and I like Star Wars. I mean, well, not anymore, but. I mean, I'm a child of the 80s. I mean, I was born in 71. Tells you how old I am. And back in the 80s, like Star Wars, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi were like these these cinematic trophies, right? These cinematic monumental cinematic monuments were like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Oh, I bow before thee. I'm not worthy. Like there are these big events.
Well, they set trends too because everyone started copying.
What's that?
I said they set trends. Everybody started copying them too. One of the movies I remember first watching in theaters was Masters of the Universe, and they totally like made it like it was Star Wars and shit. Right? You can see lots of the influence. Exactly. You can see it all throughout movies, like and that's not to take away the creativity of the '80s because there was all kinds of awesome creative shit they were doing, but yeah, there were lots of copycats to the Star Wars franchise. Definitely.
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, and then Spaceballs, but they meant to copy Star Wars. So yeah, but yeah, like the Ice Pirates, and then what's some of the other space movies out there? What was it like? What Saturn V? I think was one that came out like the late '70s, trying to copy Star Wars. Yeah, but a whole lot of copycats, right?
Yeah,
and they copied them for good reason because they were revolutionary. Things. And so, and I think like movies back then were, in higher esteem too, because there wasn't just the breadth of entertainment options that we have today. And so, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, they're like just little drops of water in a lake of entertainment options now where, they were a bigger deal back in the day. But so since I was a child of like Star Wars being these big cinematic monuments, it just kills me nowadays where Star Wars have these TV series that no. Like Star Wars is above TV. Okay, like TVs for whatever, I mean TV for if you want to have Friends and Seinfeld, and A-Team on TV, that's fine. But Star Wars is above TV, and so. Yeah, when it came out with what was it? The Mandalorian, I think maybe was the first Star Wars series. I was like, nah, I'm not on board. So
yeah, and a lot of people watched that with blinders on because it was like, hey, this is better than that trashy sequels, But if you look at it, it was a trash show too, and it upends like all kinds of the original lore, especially when it comes to like Mandalorians and their culture and shit. But back to Spider-Man. I don't want to derail your stream.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's get back on task. Yeah, Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man episode. You bet.
So the ending was cool. It was unique, like the way that he's like, okay, enter my mind, and and you can witness, the proper raising by Aunt May. Unfortunately, we don't get Uncle Ben. Now, I do think the Uncle Ben thing could be a rights issue. I don't always like. I've always chalked it up to the MCU shit, but at the end of the day, they specifically don't show or talk anything about Uncle Ben, and I think they would if they could, at least to a little degree.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think that's kind of the case with the rights issue thing. But so it was cool that he lets her in her mind to see that, because she's at the end of the day a teenager too, and it's like, oh, here's this life lesson that you never got because we've determined through the beginning of the movie that your parents were pieces of shit. So that was cool, unique, different, but it was also kind of what they did with Thunderbolts with the big group hug therapy thing. So are we now going to copy all the endings to where they're not like physical confrontations, or like, I don't mind things switching back and forth. One of my favorite X-Men stories is God Love Man Kills, and it has a similar massive CGI fest type ending in a comic book. That works really good and hits really hard. So that's fine. But I start to see a pattern, kind of like you're seeing now. You saw all the montages in the beginning. Hey, look, that was a comic cover. So was that. So was that. So they did the same thing with Fantastic Four, and which is fine. But instead of clickbaiting everyone with this comic cover pose here, they did it in Deadpool and Wolverine too. Why don't you clickbait us with like the comic book stories that actually like worked and like that are timeless, that people, from the 70s and 80s that people still fucking tout today in fucking 2026. Like that would be a great concept to try out,
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, exactly. Like you were talking about before, things are, in the gray area. People
it's like moral ambiguity, pretty much. Like,
not exactly. I want heroes, villain, black and white, accountability for villains. If they do something wrong, I want them, to pay the price. I want that payoff at the end. And we need better villains. I mean, I don't think we've had a good villain, not that I can think of, since Thanos. In the MCU there. I mean, maybe there has been a good villain since then. I can't think of it.
Like Guardians 3, the High Evolutionary, he was just a piece of shit, right? Like that's fine. Like that's good. He was torturing animals.
He didn't do much for me,
right?
but that was just me. I wasn't impressed with him. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like him torturing animals.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying though, at least that he didn't we didn't hear that his mommy did this or his dad left him, or he was just evil for the sake of being evil. Which is fine. Yep. Again, like you said, he doesn't do a whole lot, but
yeah, exactly.
They tried to have the presence of a villain that was just a villain, Yeah. But yeah, that movie's kind of trash. It ruins Adam Warlock.
And Guardians too. I mean, he ends up being destroyed at the end. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's too much right there. I kind of like, this is kind of a weird, comparison, but like the movie The Hitcher, right, with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer, where Rutger Hauer is like this killer hitchhiker, right?
Yep.
And like, he's a bad guy, right? And by the end of the movie, you're like, God, I want this guy to go down,
Exactly.
And of course, he goes down. Well, I don't think, is it too much to ask to have a villain like that, where like he's doing evil shit or she's doing evil shit, and you take her down at the end, and make it where, you put the protagonist and you put the audience. And you put them through the ringer, man. Like, there's ups, there's downs, there's ups, there's downs, there's all this stuff going on. So by the time that the bad guy gets taken out, like, oh my God, I've been through so much, but the payoff was phenomenal. Thank God Superman threw that guy off whatever, or the hero, because Superman's a bad example because he tries not to kill people, but a hero like the Punisher, like, hey, at least the Punisher threw that guy into the wood chipper, and now he got his just punishment. I don't think that's too much to ask to have like a good payoff like that, where where evil meets the demise that they so richly deserve.
Exactly, and that they could have done that. Like I said, if they could have just used a different villain, you don't have to tie yourself in knots trying to explain why it's okay for this hero to be a villain. They could have done something like Jean Grey turn herself in and, face trial or something like they did in the animated series with Beast, right? He ends up going to jail in the X-Men animated series, and, they could have done something like that. I don't know that will necessarily completely redeem her, but I mean, at least it would be a first step. Another thing, because, again, this is supposed to be like Jean Grey, like day one. In the comics, she has telekinesis first, not telepathy. The telepathy doesn't come until like 50, 60 issues in.
Okay.
So they got her powers going backwards. And she also wasn't like that powerful until the Dark Phoenix. And, morally, she is like a virtuous character. Like it's only because of the possession of the Phoenix Force. Now, revisionist history, and that's kind of something I've always talked about with the MCU. They love skipping, you know, the 10, 20, 30, 40 years of character development and like go right to the ending part of the character,
Right.
which never works out good, right? You know, so like they're already skipping ahead. There are revisionist history, you know, versions of Jean Grey, like 2010s and, you know, late 2000s and stuff like that. But why don't you just start? You don't always have to do the exact origin. Nobody's asking for exact adaptations, but to actually see the character, it's kind of like Doctor Doom, right? You know, they pulled the freaking oh shit handle, and we're going to get the most powerful version of Doctor Doom, like right at his introduction, like.
Right.
And there was all kinds of awesome Doctor Doom stories that like built up to what his character became. So it's just kind of sad to see.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's coming up here in December. So there, yeah. And, you know,
And it'll do good. It's lots of
Yeah.
people are going to go watch that. I kind of compare it to like getting different group voting blocks for like elections and stuff, right? They're like, okay, here's the Tobey Maguire block, the Hugh Jackman block, the Ryan Reynolds, the Doctor Doom fan. They're doing a little bit of everything, going to throw it all together, and you know, lots of people are going to turn out.
Oh yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're trying to just gonna get as many demographics as possible there. You know, fans of this, fans of that. To me, I mean, it reeks of desperation that they had to get Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and all those guys back together there and whatnot. But even though, I mean, it's still going to make buku bucks because they did that for a reason. They know that there's going to be plenty of people that are going to be like, "Hey, Robert Downey Jr. is back. I'm going to go see this movie." You know, because. I mean that audience is out there, so and I'm hoping it's good. I mean, I don't hope it sucks. I mean, I have to go out to these movies and I got to review these movies, and I mean, call me crazy, but yeah, I mean, it's much more enjoyable, reviewing a movie and seeing a movie when it's good. So but and I have people telling me, well, you just want movies to be bad. Hell no. Because it's my ass. I have to park my butt in a movie theater for 2 hours or, whatever. And I want that movie to be good. I want to be entertained. I wish every movie review I did was, man, this movie was awesome. I wish it was that way, but unfortunately it's not. And so, yes, I'm rooting for Doomsday. I'll be honest with you. I'm actually looking more forward to Dune Part 3 than I am Doomsday. So.
I am too. I'm interested. I didn't read the second book. But I know, like, man, it took them 2 movies to do the first book. It's just kind of wild that they're going to somehow try to wrap this whole thing up in one movie.
Sure.
Because apparently, I mean, there's a lot of, the second book's just as thick as the first one, I believe. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So
yeah, is that
definitely some subversion coming down the pike, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, right. I'm kind of glad I didn't read the books in this, like when there's a movie made of like a legendary tome, Frank Herbert and Dune, I'm kind of glad I didn't read it because I think I would probably be like more critical of the movie, but since I haven't seen it, since I'm, blissfully ignorant, I'm like, oh, okay, it's just Dune movies. And I don't know that they're doing anything wrong or whatever, so I'm completely ignorant to it. But this Spider-Man, the movie I did, it's got things that are leading into Doomsday. I mean, obviously like Elena from the New Avengers and her dressing down Spider-Man, and then I don't know if the Punisher is going to be in Doomsday. I mean, he is a Marvel character, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised if he's going to be in there in some maybe limited capacity. I did find it funny where you mentioned it before, where she says like, well, Avengers, we take care of the big potatoes, you take care of the small potatoes. Like, well, last time I checked, Spider-Man's making the big potatoes at the box office.
Yeah, exactly.
Over Thunderbolts there. Thunderbolts, wasn't the worst MCU movie. I mean, I remember going to see Thunderbolts. I'm like, kind of halfway through it, I'm like, okay, thank God this isn't the Eternals or, like some like the Marvels. It wasn't as bad as those, but
we still have them making fun of dick sizes and weird shit.
What's that?
I said we had Yelena making fun of people's dick sizes and stuff like that. Like, right. That dumb shit. And honestly, the comics like Sentry and all that, they're not really that good. I think they're very overrated. And Thor whooped Sentry's ass plenty of times in the comics. So
really?
Overrated character. But yeah, it's like that run that they're kind of basing that movie off, it's kind of like whatever. It's not
Right.
like groundbreaking that a lot of people try to act like it is, but
Yeah,
it's just like
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just hit pay dirt in 2008 with Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. is like just he's just a unique kind of actor. He brings a unique, just a gravitas to the role of Tony Stark and Iron Man and whatnot, and so it gave them a good foundation to create these characters that you root for, and that you are looking forward to seeing more of. None of those Thunderbolts characters fit that description for me whatsoever. I'm not dying to see more Atlanta or more, Winter Soldier, or, the other guy, Kurt Russell's kid playing Captain America, and then whoever else is in the new Avengers. There's a reason I can't remember it, because they didn't make a mental imprint on me.
Exactly. Well, it's like they want to reinvent that same formula, and it's like they wouldn't even have used Iron Man if they had Spider-Man and the X-Men. They would have went right to them. Like, so when they bought Fox, that was kind of the weirdest thing ever. Like, let's sit on the X-Men for 5 or 7 years.
Right.
That's a great business decision. Like,
Yeah,
I would have
exactly.
been pumping those movies out, and
getting older.
Yeah. And like they're just announcing Ghost Rider. I would have had Ghost Rider well before America Chavez and all different characters that nobody counts. But just from a business standpoint, right? Don't you want to present all the classic, like Silver Age, Golden Age comics to your fan base that's going to die out, and then save all the new age shit for the kids for when they're older and they're still a part of your market base? Like, it makes absolutely no sense what they tried to do, except obviously, pushing political narratives.
Yeah, I think there's an agenda. It's less about giving the audience what they want and making bank than it is an agenda, and the whole agenda of wanting to be seen and creating characters that a small group of people can relate to. I mean, like, I know I'm like white boy Roy over here, but I know there's a lot of characters in movies and TV that are white, but I didn't watch like the Jeffersons and go like, oh man, there needs to be more white people than Jeffersons so I can feel seen. Hey, that's great. I love that most of the cast is black. They're coming out with that movie here, with the the People of Blood and Bone, or whatever it is, that's based off that book by a black writer. It's like a African legend or something. It's like, and people were kind of joking about like, hey, where's the white people at in that trailer? I don't feel seen. They're just kind of joking about it more. They're perfectly fine with it being an all black cast, because we're not, we don't get our panties up in a bunch going, I gotta have somebody of the same skin color in the movie, otherwise I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching Menace to Society growing up, except for obviously the Asian store owners, I wasn't looking for a bunch of Asian gangbangers running around.
Hurry up and buy.
Yeah, hurry up and buy. Get out. I feel sorry for your mother.
Famous last words. Yep, exactly. Like, it's just some people are just so up their own ass where they gotta be seen. Like, like you're saying, get the characters that the masses are gonna want to see the most. Get them established, and then bring in like the niche characters after a bit, right there. So but you said the word business, but they don't have business savvy, or if they know what would be savvy in a business sense, it's all overwritten by worldview, ideology. And I've always said, you can have the most degrees from the most Ivy League schools possible, but ideology cuts right through that and makes you sound retarded. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that because of ideology, they just make terrible, terrible business decisions in the name of the revolution, right? So, yeah.
Exactly. So how did you feel about Ned and MJ, like, being overly, like, because I kind of wanted them to be shelved. Like, I don't mind. There was obviously they did a good job at like emotional connections in this, right? It was definitely a lot more serious. Obviously, you had the jokey joke shit with Yelena and stuff like that.
Sure.
They had a couple things with Spider-Man and webbing up Punisher's mouth, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So he's not saying the fucking dropping F-bombs. But like it actually had some good emotional beats and stuff. I just feel like they would have worked better if he only from afar watched MJ and Ned for 2 or 3 movies, right? And then maybe you can get a reconnection with them way later on down the road. And until then, give us some Felicia Hardy and some additional characters that are involved in like the Spider-Man mythos, different people that he can make friends and enemies with along the way.
Right. I think I could have handled that. But I think that we live in an instant gratification society, and I think between that and the fact and then the end of No Way Home, where they're all talking about like he said, I'm going to find you, I'm going to reach back out to you, and MJ's like, you better, and Ned's they kind of tease like, okay, well, yeah, it's sad right now, but rest assured in the next movie, they'll all get back together. There'll be some kind of catharsis, to make up for, the sorrow that you're feeling right now. And so I don't know if John Q. Public could have like waited that long, like you're talking about, like 2 or 3 movies. I think that you would have had the masses going, come on, let's bring MJ and Ned back in here. Stop making us wait. And so I wonder if that would have happened. I think that maybe that would have. But what you're saying, if they did it the way that you're talking about, I mean, when they do bring Ned and MJ back, I mean, the payoff would be even that more impactful because you've had to wait that much longer, right? The whole absence makes a heart grow fonder thing. So
yeah, and if you're still having him like maybe have them in scenes where he's watching them from afar, like on his phone, like he was doing, but just tries to keep separate, like keep them separated from him and stuff. I think
and you're gonna have enough in the movie to keep everybody entertained, where it's easy for them to keep their mind off of MJ and Ned.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to, you have plenty of lights, and just a lot of lights and buzzers and whatever, like to keep people entertained. Or like, okay, yeah, we know MJ and Ned's not in here, but my God, there's so much action and so many compelling plot lines that okay, they can come back in maybe 2 or 3 movies and that kind of thing. But so you'll have to keep everyone entertained and occupied. But
so the fight scenes with the hand were really cool. But the hand, like they've told us, hey, Jon Bernthal's Punisher, Charlie Cox's Daredevil from Netflix, those are canon to our universe now. So the hand were this badass super secret society like the League of Shadows, and now they're just hired thugs for a corporation, right? Like what is that? Like, and at the end of the day, all these villains that he fights were all mind controlled. So like there's actually no stakes at all with any of them because there's no real like tension because it's all just Jean Grey at the end versus Spider-Man at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because the hand, I did get a little exposure to them with the Daredevil series.
And the fight scenes were cool in this. Like I wouldn't say they were bad or anything, but it's just like, I don't know. Again, it just feels like there's no stakes in them at all.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And what if you never watched Daredevil? I mean, then, if you're just somebody that this is your introduction to the hand, then you're like, okay, well, they're not really that much. I mean, because you're not seeing the hand at the pinnacle of their powers, you're just seeing them as lapdogs, as Jean Grey puppets. But I mean, but like you said, the fight scene at the end with them is cool. I like the visuals, with them jumping up in the air and Spider-Man rising up, and meeting them in midair to
doing the spinorama web party, right?
right. Yeah, exactly. So, but so it's I mean, a lot to like in this movie. I mean, I would never put it up with something like The Dark Knight, or like the Avengers or Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I mean, to me, it doesn't even touch those movies whatsoever. It doesn't even get close. But But
Yeah, in the Spider-Man mythos alone, I think both the first two Raimi movies are better. I would argue that Amazing Spider-Man 1's better. At the end of the day,
sure.
I would probably put it number one, maybe on the MCU movies.
Mm.
I always say the MCU Spider-Mans they make money, but they're kind of forgettable, right? Like I always relate back to my kids. Like I go by what they want to watch, right? Like my kids have watched Infinity War and Revenge of the Sith more than any two movies in my house. They're not like, hey, Dad, can we watch Homecoming again? But they will say, hey, let's watch Spider-Man 2 or the first Spider-Man, the
Right,
Spider-Man, because they are more classic, right? I don't think. Again, I was kind of shocked because I kind of had a feeling, oh, my wife and daughter are probably going to like this, and
Sure.
They didn't. I haven't talked to my oldest yet to get her take, but
Yeah.
they actually didn't like it too much. They thought it was just kind of over sensationalized and stuff, and I don't know.
Were they hearing a lot of people glazing it basically before they went and saw this is the greatest Spider-Man ever, and
Kind of, and my daughter knows like Jean Grey, and she's like, she's not a villain. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like logically, she's like very like sound-minded when it comes to like thinking about stuff. So she's like, yeah, this just doesn't make any sense. And there was for people like a deeper cut when Bruce Banner is at the college. One of the kids he calls on is Cindy, and it's an Asian chick. So that's Cindy Moon. So it's like I don't know how many iterations of Spider-Man, right? Silk. She's really the Silk character. So I don't know if they're planning on using that actress and like shoehorning her into the next Spider-Man movie.
Maybe, yeah.
Or like her own spin-off. But I think most people would have preferred to see a femme fatale like Black Cat. Something just tells me that may have been more popular of a character to introduce.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So right there. Because I know that they're trying to, shoehorn in an X-Men character to, get that in there, to get the X-Men all, I guess, lay the foundation for that for Doomsday. I think, Jean Grey just, it's weird that she's she's doing these murderous things, right from the jump, instead of, later on down the line there. Because, when Famke Janssen played her, I don't know if Famke Janssen was ever a bad Jean Grey, was she? I think that was, not until, Dark Phoenix when I think, what's her face? Sophie Turner.
Yeah, they just have hints of the Phoenix Force. I personally, I want them to just stay away from the Phoenix Force. Like, I'm a big X-Men fan. It's my favorite out of all the I have lots of favorite when it comes to Marvel, but I love the X-Men and Chris Claremont era primarily. Man, there's 17 and a half years of awesome writing and just different artists all throughout the run. Just awesome stuff. You don't even have to really touch the Phoenix Force. You could hint about it for a decade. But if they ever try to adapt that again, it needs to be like its own trilogy, and it needs to be as comic accurate as possible, because they've proven that a non-comic accurate version of it's not going to work.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's amazing. You'd think that with the time these people have, they would, get it done right there. But I don't know. It's just I'm not a writer there. But real quick here on the live chat here, I do see, I don't want to leave some people out here, but I see Shawnee Mac 1 is on the live chat on the YouTube side saying, "We party." Yes, we do. We party in here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And I see SWA 223 or SWA 223. Sure, I'm saying that wrong.
As he goes by SWA, or at least that's the way I call him out, anyways.
Yeah. That sounds cooler anyway. So I'm thinking NWA, but SWA, I like it. It says, I did find Loki season 1 to be mildly entertaining because of Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's a good actor. He's a great actor. I don't know if anybody's seen the series The Night Manager with Tom Hiddleston in it. He plays kind of like a novice James Bond type character, like a super suave secret agent kind of character in The Night Manager. That's a good movie here. And then says probably has to keep Zendaya in the Spider-Man movies because of contract, or just because Tom and Zendaya are there. Yeah, it's like
possibly
talk about an awkward trip home for Tom, because obviously they're married in real life. So Zendaya, I'm sure he'd get home like Zendaya's. oh, did you have fun with your little Spider-Man movie that I'm not in anymore? So hope you had fun with Jean Grey. You probably fucked her, didn't you? Then as somebody watched Daredevil season 2 not too long ago, why are they a security team? I don't know. Any thoughts on that there?
Well, yeah, he's talking about the hand, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Why are they security? Well, I guess they're, whatever. Well, no, I guess, because when they're working for damage control, Jean Grey is not controlling them.
Yeah. No, they're just
Damage
there for the
control is,
ride.
like,
Yeah.
doing their thing.
Their days of being a secret society are over,
Right.
This,
Yeah.
evil
Maybe it's like,
organization.
well, hey, you could go to jail, or,
Yeah.
we could throw you in that pit that was in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Or
It's
well, I
just
guess that's a whole nother.
it's just the New York chapter, right? They still have the other ones in Asia operating.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like we're New York City. Al Qaeda here in New York City. We're just going to be security dogs.
Yeah, sleeper cell. Yeah.
Al Qaeda in Iraq. You could still be Al Qaeda over there. So yeah, I love it. Real quick here, actually, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do because I'm getting thirsty. Maybe some others here, but I do a segment called Brew Review Time, where I review a brew here. So I'm going to get this going right here, and then I'll bring it back up here in just a minute. And anytime you need to go here, feel free to let me know there and whatnot. So, but without further ado, we're going to get into the brew review time because, yes, I got a thirst I need to quench. That is for sure as we do that. So here we go. All right, let's do this here real quick and go over here. And so our brew for this brew review time tonight is Little Easy Eddie from Big Grove Brewery. And this is actually a brewery that's somewhat local to yours truly here. I'm in Iowa. And so it's in a town from, it's called a Solon. And it's also in Iowa City, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes, if anybody's a sports fan out there. And so, yeah, Easy Eddie, as you can see, there is a hazy IPA. And it comes to us at 6% on the alcohol by volume or the ABV scale. And it's got a IBU rating of 35. And IBU stands for International Bitterness Units. Essentially, how bitter is it? How much is it going to make you pucker up, right? There. And this is one of the top selling IPAs in Iowa. That may not be a big deal to you if you live in, Montana or something like that. But it's a New England style hazy IPA. Now, let's get into some of the nitty gritty characteristics of this particular brew. As far as the aromatics, the nose, it's definitely got a citrus nose to it right there with pineapple and mango. Now, as far as what is, what they use to brew this, it's brewed with the hops, or a certain kind of hops here. Obviously, one of the kind of hops that it's brewed with is Citra. There's Mosaic and then Simcoe. And yes, I am reading those off a screen because I can't remember that shit. Okay. And it's also brewed with the flaked wheat and oats as far as the grains. And then, it's kind of just a soft, smooth, it's bitter, but it's got a soft smoothness to it there as well. And this is an award-winning beer that you're looking at right here. It's a gold medal winner at the 2024 Great American Beer Festival. So with that, I am recommending this brew, and I'm not getting any money from Big Grove Brewery, anything like that. Okay, so this is an above-board, legit review. If it tasted like Panther piss, I would definitely tell you that. But I'm a fan of it. Luckily for me, I live in an area where this is plentifully available. I think that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it. But plentifully available here to me. And so it's not a heavy beer to drink. It's not like a porter or a stout or a barley wine, anything like that. Nothing that you're going to need to have a spoon with or anything like that. Not at all. And I can see myself very easily being on some pontoon with some hot babes, and the sun is beating down. I need to refresh myself, cool myself down. I could see me reaching into a nice cooler beer and grabbing myself an Easy Eddie and cooling off with one of these bad boys right here. So pretty damn good. So, but let me get a drink off this bad boy because I'm sick of just talking about it here. It's it's here for me to drink, not just talk about. So. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, a little Easy Eddie there. I'm gonna set that down right there. But when I do like a beer, when I recommend a beer, I also like to let you guys know like what kind of foods does the beer pair well with. And so as far as the Easy Eddie goes, some foods that it pairs well with are street tacos, or as I call them, tacos that are way too small. Okay, but I guess that's why they call them street tacos. Spicy curries. Okay, so if you're a big fan of like yellow or green curry or anything like that, which I am, I'm a fiend for that shit. This Easy Eddie would go well with that. Uh, Fried chicken, hot wings, those pair very, very well. Some smash burgers, if you're a big fan of smash burgers, and this guy is absolutely. If you're more of a cultured, sophisticated individual, if you're into creamy brie or goat cheese or sharp aged cheddar, if you're a big cheesehead, then yeah, pair it up with some Easy Eddie there. And then we got ceviche and poke bowls or poke bowls. I never forget how to pronounce it. Is it poke bowls or poke bowls? Let me know in the live chat. Someone can correct me there because I could be sounding very stupid right now with my pronunciation of that. And then last but not least, grilled salmon goes very well with Easy Eddie right there. So yeah, so grab yourself some of this right here. Now, if you don't live anywhere near Iowa, you might have to go someplace like the website gopuff.com and get it from there. Gopuff.com. It's kind of like if you guys ever go to like Gold Belly, the website Gold Belly, where you can get like Pizzeria Uno pizza, or you can get like lobster rolls, from New England, delivered to your house, but at a premium price. Okay. Well, GoPuff.com is kind of like Gold Belly, where they'll get this beer in your hand, if you live in Moscow, Russia, but you're gonna be paying some big rubles for that beer in your hand, but it will get to you. That is for sure. But I mention that just because I don't want to hog all this good beer for myself. But if you're in Iowa, then yeah, just fire up Uber Eats on your phone, or Open Bar. That's another app on your phone you could use. So, but anyway, I think I've belabored the point on this Easy Eddie Hazy IPA. So let's wrap up this brew review time. All right, and let's bring up Bane of the Shills there up here, and so hey, is it cool? Do you like going by Bane of the Shills, or is anybody?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be. The problem is I got deplatformed on YouTube as Star Wars Marvel Purist, so Bane of the Shills was the second channel I did, and then I got nailed on that too. So I was trying to do the Rumble thing too, but I am supposedly possibly eligible for the quote unquote second chance program on YouTube in about 16 days.
Oh,
so I'm going to click that button, see if it says you're still banned or not. And then I'm just going to, my next channel is going to be Star Wars Marvel Purist 1. And then I'm just going to do that. That way I can try to get a lot of my old audience back. When I stream, I have both the PFPs up now because it's kind of just homogenized. Like, again, most people don't deal with having to get deplatformed. And if they do, they usually just pack it up. So just kind of like merging the lore and all that stuff. I mean, it's the same chat. We did a lot of upgrades and different like like we do some AI like intro skit stuff for my intros, and I've been using the Suno app for some different songs that we do and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's still the same. I just kind of changed some stuff around. So yeah, it is what it is. So, but yeah, the Star Wars Marvel Purist is the main, like that's my user name on Rumble. Because once you create a user on Rumble, you can't change it, right? You have your user and then all the different channels. So yeah, I'll probably kind of like lean towards the Purist thing for the YouTube side. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. It is what it is. So I
tell people they can call me Van or Movies Merica, but I didn't know like what refer to you by, and of course I'm asking you like an hour into you.
Yeah, well, it used to be purist because all my stuff was like Star Wars, Marvel, purist, right? And then I had pure unadulterated Star Wars, and we would do like deep dives on expanded universe Star Wars books. And then I had a pure unadulterated Marvel, and we'd cover comic runs or graphic novels from Marvel. So we had to axe all that. So then I created my channels over here. I had Bane of the Shills, and then Bane of the Shills clips, and then I have the Bane of the Libs when I do a political stream here and there. So we try to start keeping it thematic with the Bane name. So
yeah, right, exactly, yeah. Bane is just it just covers a lot of stuff. You can be the bane of a lot of things, right? So just keep the Bane train going. So yeah. Gotcha. So should I call you purist?
You can call me. Yeah, I mean, you can just do the Bane for now. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
If we get back on YouTube, again, I'm not really holding my breath because they got me for quote unquote cyberbullying. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they let bullies back over there.
Yeah, I keep tempting YouTube to deplatform me, not intentionally, but I don't know how many times I've gotten copyright claimed. Because I was just a movie show. And I'll play like trailers for movies, but only after I'll really big time. I'll alter them like pretty dramatically. I mean, where you watch the trailer, like, okay, this is clearly not the way the trailer originally looked. Okay, I wash it out with colors and stuff, and flip it and all that stuff, and still sometimes you get dinged.
I had to do that on an 03 Clone Wars. We were doing like Asajj Ventress's comic arc from the original Clone Wars, and then like the Republic comics, and like basically throughout all media and Star Wars. And when I did the 03 Clone Wars episodes, I had to put a sticker that covered like about a third of the screen, 2/3 of the screen to even be able to play it. But yet I can go to someone else's channel and they'll have the whole damn episode up and not have. But in mine, it was like literally going to just universally block it. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know how that works, but whatever. Right. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I never got that because I'm pretty much promoting your property.
Yeah,
exactly. When I'm playing a trailer or a scene, I'm giving your property like exposure to people potentially that wouldn't be exposed to it. Anything. It's not like I'm playing the damn whole movie.
Yeah, it's free marketing. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you should be paying me or thanking me, or at the very least, not copyright claiming me or anything like that. So, but I don't know, and nothing makes sense in the world of YouTube. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing right there.
I appreciate you having me on. I got to get going. I forgot that I didn't set up my I do archive streams from my YouTube channel onto Rumble to help kind of hit the hours and stuff. So I got a book review thing that I got to put up that I forgot that I didn't set up this morning.
Oh, excellent. So, well, definitely no, and I appreciate you coming on here, and definitely if you'd be willing to come back on again, by all means, anytime there, because I got a feeling we got some stuff to talk to, and especially when you said the Bane of the liberals, and then I think we kind of have the same worldview, and when it
definitely
comes to movies and politics and that kind of thing. So,
Blood Eagle, the communist.
Welcome anytime, man.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you having me on, and if anybody wants to check out my Monday shows, are usually 9 p.m.
Yeah, plug whatever you want, man. Absolutely. Where can they find you? How can people?
It's just on Rumble, Bane of the Shills, my regular channel. That's my regular live streams. And then I have my other channels, but generally I drop everything on my main channel and then I kind of siphon it off. So I have Bane's Expanded Universe Holocron. We're doing like Star Wars audiobooks over there. Also have like cutscene stuff from like KOTOR 2, stuff like that. Like just additional like expanded universe material. And then I'm starting up a thing called Purist Shield Archives, which is going to be like Marvel audiobooks matched with comics. So actually have the comic panels on screen while an audiobook's playing. That takes a lot of editing. And then I have the Bane of the Shills clips, just because I don't like to conflate my clips with my regular channel because I don't want to bombard my main audience with spam. Sure. And then Bane of the Lives, like I said, I do like I've only done one political stream. I did it on like Calvin Coolidge and his 100-year anniversary 4th of July speech. And stuff like that. We did that for celebrating America 250. So and then I have my buddy came on, showed off some of his arsenal. We only do it on Rumble, obviously, but
yeah, you know, YouTube loves those guns, don't they? So yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm sure YouTube's like, yeah, let's get more Brandon Herreras on YouTube. So yeah,
Exactly. Right. Well,
but
you have a
again,
good
yeah,
night, man. Good talking with you. And
yeah,
yeah, maybe we can do Doomsday or something like that when it comes up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, December. Yeah, that'll come out right there, and I'm sure there'll be some movies between now and then that we can have you back on here if you'd be willing. That'd be fantastic.
Awesome, man. Sounds good.
All right, man. Hey, all the best to you, brother.
Yep. You too. Later.
All right, bye. All right, give it up, everybody, for Bane of the Shills, and all his links are down in the description there as well. So, you got no excuse not to go out and check out, Bane's, what he's got out there to offer, for entertainment, for information, or infotainment. There, maybe a little blend of the two there, but yeah. So links down in the description on both Rumble and YouTube for all of his content there as well. So, and on the YouTube side, on the live chat there, we've got, and I'm sure I'm going to blow the pronunciation of his name, but got Len Mollahan saying hi. And hey, to you, how you doing? Thanks for jumping in the live chat and checking us out on the YouTube side right there. So, absolutely. But real quick here, let me do this. I want to entice you here with something that I think you might want to get in your life here. So, possibly, I don't want to be presumptuous here. Not at all. So, but check this out right here. We've got the Movies Merica merch website, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And so, as you see here, we got all kinds of different types of Movies Merica merch. So, if you don't want to just watch Movies Merica merch, you want to wear Movies Merica, by all means, we have got the website for you. Okay. And so, yeah, we've got shirts, got hats, got drinkware, got accessories there like desk mats. We got all these different logos here as well, different types of Movies Merica logos. So let's kind of do a little scrolling here, shall we? And yeah, as you see right here, we're starting off with the big mugs style of Movies Merica logo here. And we got the big mugs camo trucker hat. Full disclosure, there's no purple on the hat right there, unfortunately, but I just want to be upfront with you about that. But yeah, everything else is as it looks. We've got all these T-shirts where you can get different colors there. Got the big mugs all over print T-shirts. We got the tank top there as well. If you like a wife beater, you can come in here and get this in white right there. So if you want that right there, because picture the pepperoni stain right there for the Movies Merica flavored wife beater. You got the baseball long sleeve, pullover hoodie, windbreakers. Also, hey, if you can pull it off, you got a sports bra right there. We got hats, and then we're moving on to the Hollyweird version of Movies Merica logo, and we've got T-shirts with that logo on there as well. You're kind of getting the idea, right? Are you detecting a pattern here? Okay, and then last but not least, we're getting to my personal favorite Movies Merica style logo. That's the Black Adam style. And I like it because it's just so metal. Okay. And yeah, we got different apparel with the Black Adam style Movies Merica logo on there as well. And then, hey, if you like, what, I got all the Movies Merica gear. I've got it all. I've bought it all there. Maxed out my credit card. And now I just got me a new credit card that I need to, buy some Movies Merica merch with. Well, hey, we've got drinkware down here to start, helping you spend some of that credit card money right there. So we got coffee cups, got a can-shaped glass, got a pint glass, koozies, and then, like I was saying before, we got desk mats of different sizes to, give your workstation a little bit more sophistication. All right. So yeah, you're not hurting for variety as far as Movies Merica merch, and it makes a great conversation starter too. Because I've worn my Movies Merica hat, my Movies Merica T-shirt, and I've just been walking down the street or, at a concert or going to a movie, and someone will just ask me, hey, what's Movies Merica? And it just starts the conversation. So you got that possibility right there. Also makes for a great gift. If you have a movie lover in your life and you want to give them something movie related, let them know that, hey, you know what, I do listen to you sometimes, and you don't just sound like wah 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 when you're talking to me. I pick up that you're a movie lover, and you want to demonstrate that. Then yeah, get your the movie lover in your life some movie related gear here. So there you go. It makes for a great gift, and making it very easy for you to get to this Movies Merica merch website, because it's down in the description there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Okay, so all right, enough about that here. Time to move on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And SWA 223 or 223, maybe that's like a caliber kind of reference right there. Emma Frost would have been great. Yeah, Emma Frost is she's got kind of an attitude about her, and I like that attitude. I mean, at least the only Emma Frost that I can go off of is the one from X-Men First Class there, the movie. Okay, I again, like, I didn't read comics as a kid. I don't read comics now. Right there, more power to the people that do. That's great. But when Emma Frost was played by January Jones in X-Men First Class, I'm like, first off, she's sexy as hell. And second of all, she's a formidable foe there. And I do like how, Samara Weaving just got cast as Emma Frost here for, future Marvel movies there. Samara Weaving is a fantastic actress in the Ready or Not movie. She was just in a great movie called Over My Dead Body with her and Jason Segel. And so Samara, she was I was going to say she was in Scream 6 or 7. She didn't last too long in that movie. So, but she's a great actress right there. She's the niece of Hugo Weaving, who of course played Agent Smith there in the Matrix movies, and who else he was? Oh, he's in Lord of the Rings, and V for Vendetta there as well. So very just some useful movie trivia for you there. So there you go. All right, and we got some more Spider-Man Brand New Day to talk about. We're by no means done with that, but I did like, and me and Bane of the Shills kind of touched on it earlier here. I did like the cool moment at the end, where Spider-Man, he does take that round. Somehow Spider-Man withstands like a 50 cal round, because it looked like it looks like Frank Castle was using that Barrett 50 cal rifle right there. But I guess the plot involves like Jean Grey somehow helping Peter like heal and live, from the impact of that gunshot there. So, and then of course, obviously, Spider-Man has strength that your normal, human being, your normal meat puppet doesn't have right there. But I, when he was in the hospital and he had the city was outside, holding a vigil for him and rooting for him to live, and just showing that they cared about Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, in this he's by himself. I mean, the spell, well, worked for the most part in getting MJ and Ned to forget about him. But of course, by this time in Spider-Man Brand New Day, he's reconnected with MJ and Ned. Not to the level that they connected in the earlier movies, right? So, but it's still cool to see Peter Parker walk out of the hospital, and of course, everyone doesn't know. Everyone does not know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and so he's able to walk through the crowd and just watch everybody just take in all the love and worship and adoration and appreciation from the crowd for him for Spider-Man there. I thought that was pretty cool. And then on top of that, like, Frank Castle up in the window, he's got the Spidey mask on and pretending to be Spider-Man. And I thought that was kind of touching. Like, hey, there's a scene with Frank Castle, and I'm kind of getting a little teared up there, with Frank Castle doing that. So it was a good, emotional ending to the movie there. So, and I wanted to say that because, earlier in the episode, I was like, kind of sound like I was kind of shitting all over this movie or a little too much, but and that's one moment out of many good moments in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But like I was saying, the Bane of the Shills, I would never put up this movie up with like the Dark Knights or Batman Begins or any of like the Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It's not even anywhere near the level of quality of those movies. They're not at all. So, and then also, I mean, I think some people, have higher esteem for this movie than I do because this movie is making the big bucks. I mean, it's already the highest grossing movie of the year. It hasn't even been out for a week. I mean, well, it's barely been out for a week because it came out technically a week ago today. There, so, but yeah, in a week's time, it became the highest grossing movie of the year. Overtaking Toy Story 5 for that title there as well. So yeah, and it did that all without IMAX for its first week. Now it's Spider-Man Brand New Day is getting IMAX this week. Okay, so Odyssey is finally getting kicked out of the IMAX theaters, and Spider-Man is going in this weekend right there. But yeah, it just even without the higher price tickets of IMAX, because that's one reason the Odyssey made as much money as it did is because people were going to see it at IMAX, and IMAX are by far the highest movie ticket prices out there. But so I think that, and I don't think there's going to be much drop off this weekend. There's just way too much good word of mouth about Spider-Man Brand New Day there. So and it just the buildup of it, and people knowing that it's leading up to Doomsday, and even with the Odyssey, I wasn't a big fan of the Odyssey. Okay, but as a child of the '80s and the '90s, like decades where people going into the movie theaters and it being just a normal thing to go to the theater and it just be packed, balls to the wall, nut to butt, packed with people in the movie theaters. It feels good to see that again, right? It feels good to see that where you just walk into a theater or you go to buy tickets to a movie right there, like holy shit, I can't get a seat to this showing right here. It's already bought up and whatnot. And again, that was normal, in the '70s and '80s and the '90s and 2000s, right? But now it feels good, because I mean, movie theaters were on life support, right? Okay, they were teetering, okay, and and I'm not saying that movie theaters are back, okay, they're not fully back. I mean, the foot traffic to movies now still isn't what it was like, in 2019 and before that, right there. They're making more money now, but that's just because of inflation and all of that stuff right now. But enough about that. I know a lot of people are just like, I like watching movies, Van. I don't want to hear you talk about the financial side and go down memory lane and talk about the old days, and demonstrate what an old fossil you are. All that stuff right there. I love it. So I see here in the Rumble sign on live chat right there, we got Kring. Oh my God, I can't even talk. King Chris 01. Yo, what's up? And good to see you there, Your Highness. And SWA223 says, I feel like they could have utilized some of the Spider-Man villains better. Yes, word on that. Maybe they could have been instead of the hand, so you get like a Sinister Six there. So yeah, and again, like I said, I don't read comics, but Sinister Six is one that I've even heard of there from the comics there. So yeah, and what's you comic book readers are gonna laugh your ass off at me, but I'm assuming it's what there's Mr. Sinister, right? Is that one of the characters? And I'm assuming Mr. Sinister has something to do with the Sinister Six. Call me crazy. Right there, absolutely. But yeah, and if you get good writers for these movies, then you can do like what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Guardians of the Galaxy, like Joe Blow, John Q. Public, normal American that or movie viewer that didn't read the comics, they didn't know Star-Lord, they didn't know Peter Quill, they didn't know Rocket Raccoon, but those characters were written so well in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies there that people went to see those movies. It made the movie entertaining because those characters are written so well. So you have a Sinister Six, in these movies, and write the Sinister Six, in a very entertaining, compelling way, and people are gonna be like, I don't care if I, knew Sinister Six, from Big Hero 6. All right, these are entertaining. This is an entertaining thing in movies, and I love it. I love it. I mean, like Bane, okay, and Bane, like in Dark Knight Rises, say what you want about Bane or whatever. Some people might not even like the Dark Knight Rises, but like Bane, I mean, as played by Tom Hardy, was a compelling, villain. Of course, obviously, he wasn't like as compelling as Heath Ledger's Joker. All right, but he was better than I don't know, the bad guy, Namor from the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. He was definitely better than that fucking villain in that movie right there. And SWA223 says, nah, that's an X-Men villain. So all right, appreciate the clarity on that. Absolutely. So there you go. Live chat to the rescue again. Absolutely. So all right, let's do this here. I want to get to my personal favorite segment of the weekly Movies Merica episodes. And again, just to let you know, I have the Movies Merica show that you're watching right now, the Movies Merica spoiler warning show. And also on Sunday afternoons, I have Movies Merica Live. And that's the spoiler-free show, okay? And so that comes on Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific. And Movies Merica Live, the show I just mentioned here on the Sunday afternoons, that's where I do a spoiler-free review of mostly the latest movies here, like this week right here. But to Unfolding Joker, I don't know if you're still in the live chat right there, but I will be doing a retro review of a movie from the 90s. Okay, so if that gives you another clue as far as what movie I will be doing, that's not a very good clue. There's a lot of movies that came out in the 90s, but I will be doing a retro review this Sunday. But again, yeah, Movies Merica Live is my spoiler-free review of mostly brand new movies. And then again, like the spoiler warning show you're watching tonight is potential spoilers, as you've heard plenty in this episode. But yeah, check out the Sunday afternoon show there. And, if you can watch it live for like maybe a couple minutes or two or three or a few, by all means, I get it. You're busy, all right. And that show goes on for like an hour or so on Sunday afternoons, and a lot of people are like, I don't have time to watch a show for an hour on a Sunday. So, but if you do like on this show right here, you just jump in the chat, on Sunday afternoon for a couple minutes. By all means, you could definitely do that. Or you can do like what I do with other people's shows. I'll fire up the show. I'll click the link to get the show fired up on Rumble and YouTube. And then I'll go and I'll do my thing. I'll do whatever else I need to do. But that helps them out with watch minutes, because YouTube and Rumble, they don't know that I'm not watching the show. They just see I fired up the show to watch it, and I went to go change my oil, or basically, smoke my brisket or whatever. And that's not a euphemism for something else. There you go. So, but yeah, so on Sunday mornings, that's when the link for the Sunday shows are available on X and Facebook, or you can just go to Rumble or YouTube and type in Movies Merica, and you'll see the way to join the Sunday afternoon show right there. And I know we got college football, or not college football. That's coming up too, but that's on Saturdays. But yeah, we got NFL football coming up here on Sundays. And so I know like my viewership on Sunday afternoons drops off, right? Okay. But and I'll be going over this later on when NFL football starts. But one secret that you can do with my show when the NFL season starts on Sundays is, how NFL, when you're watching an NFL game, they play the same fucking commercials over and over again, right? Okay, like how many times can you watch the fucking Limu Emu commercials, right? Like you're just like, I don't want to see that commercial again. So what I always say is like, okay, pause the beginning of the game for like a half an hour, right? Or at least 15, 20 minutes, right? Watch my show for 15 and 20 minutes while the game is paused, all right? And in that way, when you stop watching my show, you go to the game, you can fast forward through all those dorky fucking commercials right there. So, but that's more for the NFL season and all that stuff. So, but I've already gone too long with this. There you go. BaneOfTheShills says, I didn't mind Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, neither did I. I mean, I know there's a lot of plot holes, in it, and a lot of like, what, like how did that happen? But it's a superhero movie. I mean, it's a movie. It's not a National Geographic documentary. It doesn't have to be ultra realistic, but I liked it. Dark Knight Rises, and yeah, it was one of the most anticipated movies of my life when it came out in 2012. That's for sure, right there. So, but let's get into my personal favorite segment of every Movies America show, and that is the movie military moment. And so we may have some newbies here watch the show and they have no idea what the movie military moment is. And, hey, more power to you if you don't. But what it is in a nutshell is it's where I give myself a few minutes to pay tribute to a military hero that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay. I'm ex-military. I'm ex-mil. I'm a very patriotic person, unapologetically. And if you don't like that, go fuck yourself. Okay. I'm very patriotic about this country. And so I was destined to give myself an excuse to do something patriotic on a movie show. And yes, I know some of you might be like, what, man, that's very selfless of you, or that's nice of you to, pay tribute to a military hero during this show. But what does it have to do with movies, man? Valid question. I will give you that right there. And you know what? I do owe you an explanation for that, but not until after this. All right, so I owe you an explanation, everybody. So what it has to do with the movie show is this. So as you would imagine, if you are awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for being the best booger picker on the base, right? You didn't do it. You didn't get it for being like the best letter sorter at the base post office, right? You got it for doing some monumental shit, right? Okay. Like you're a helicopter pilot in Nam, right? And you're flying your Huey and you're supposed to fly in supplies and evac the wounded, right? Okay. And of course, you got your LZ, your landing zone, and you're doing your thing. And all of a sudden, the VC, they overrun the LZ. Now it's known as it's now termed, or it turns into what's called a hot LZ, right? There's just way too many enemy all over the LZ. They're firing small arms, big arms, RPGs all over the place. Point is, it's too dangerous to land a helicopter in a hot LZ right there. But you're like, and even your commanding officer is on the squawk box going, you turn that helicopter around, man. That's a hot LZ. We can't lose a helicopter. You don't pay for that helicopter. The taxpayers do. Get back here. And you're like, sir, sorry, man. I can't do it. I got to fly into that LZ, man. I got to evac the wounded. I got ammo back here. I got to deliver it to the boys, man. These soldiers are going to die if I don't do it. So you fly into that hot LZ, and you are just, you regardless of what happens to you, you're getting down there because you want to do what you can, for your fighting men. And the soldiers down there, trying to fight the VC off, they see what you're doing, like, holy shit, I can't believe this guy's landing and dropping off supplies and evacuating the wounded. My God, I can't believe this. Oh, and he's coming back. He's doing it again. Holy shit, And so if you're there and you say like you're an Army Ranger or something like that, right? And you're seeing this go down, you're like, you can't believe your eyes, okay? And so if you later on in life, maybe you're not there and you're somebody else, and you saw this scene of this helicopter pilot landing his chopper with rounds flying left and right and explosions and all that shit. There's all kinds of war chaos going on. If you saw it on a big movie screen in front of you, it would be a cool movie military moment. And that's the connection there, folks, right there. Okay. So we are going to get into the meat of this movie military moment, because I think we've made our honoree for this movie military moment wait way too long at this point right there. So let's get into honoring this hero. And our movie military moment honoree for this episode is Master at Arms Michael A. Mansour, who fought in the War on Terrorism, or GWAT, Global War on Terror, in Iraq, okay? And his Medal of Honor action took place in Ramadi, Iraq, okay? And so, yeah, we're going to find out more about Master at Arms Mansoor. But first, I believe that Master at Arms Mansoor deserves some sweet, sweet movie military moment music, okay? And if you would in the live chat, let me know if this music is too loud, because I had this music in this loaded up here before, and it was always too loud, and I basically remixed it, so to speak, and lowered the volume, and hopefully it's no longer too loud, okay? But I'm not going to know that unless you guys tell me. And then if it is too loud, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do for it. For that in this episode, but I can remedy that later on. But anyway, I see again. I'm stalling. I'm pulling a stall job on Master at Arms Mansoor. So let's get right into this movie military moment. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay homage to Master at Arms Michael A. Mansoor, who was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for actions that took place in Iraq. And let's find out more about Master at Arms Mansoor and his heroic deeds, shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty as automatic weapons gunner for Naval Special Warfare Task Group, Arabian Peninsula, in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom on 29 September 2006. As a member of a combined SEAL and Iraqi Army sniper overwatch element tasked with providing early warning and standoff protection from a rooftop in an insurgent-held sector of Ramadi, Iraq. Petty Officer Mansoor distinguished himself by his exceptional bravery in the face of grave danger. In early morning, insurgents prepared to execute a coordinated attack by reconnoitering the area around the element's position. Element snipers thwarted the enemy's initial attempts by eliminating 2 insurgents. The enemy continued to assault the element, engaging them with rocket-propelled grenade and small arms fired. As enemy activity increased, Petty Officer Mansoor took position with his machine gun between 2 teammates on an outcropping on the roof. While the SEALs vigilantly watched for enemy activity, an insurgent threw a hand grenade from an unseen location, which bounced off Petty Officer Mansoor's chest and landed in front of him. Although only he could have escaped the blast, Petty Officer Mansoor chose instead to protect his teammate. Instantly, and without regard for his own safety, he threw himself onto the grenade to absorb the force of the explosion with his body, saving the lives of his 2 teammates. By his undaunted courage, fighting spirit, and unwavering devotion to duty in the face of certain death, Petty Officer Mansoor gallantly gave his life for his country, thereby reflecting great credit upon himself and upholding the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. And we salute you, Master at Arms Michael A. Mansoor, for your heroics and what you did for our country. And that has been the movie military moment. All right, there you go. I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped. I don't know about you. Yeah, let me know in the live chat with an American flag if you're pumped up after hearing what that hero did right there. And hey, it looks like SWA223 is ahead of the game with those American flags in there. So yeah, let's get patriotic up in here during this movie military moment. And now, if you don't want to have to wait for me to do a movie military moment to learn more about these military heroes that were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, well, you can go to the same website I go to, and you can read these citations. And so the website I go to is CMOHS, so Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay, so CMOHS.org /recipients. Okay. And where it may come in handy is if you're like me, sometimes you wake up in the morning, especially on a weekend where you don't have to work, you're feeling lazy and groggy, and you're like, I'm committing this day to just sitting on the couch and vegging out and not getting anything done. But you got to get shit done. All right. You got a honey-do list or whatever in front of you. You got to get shit done. All right. Old lady's not going to let you, sit in the lay in the fetal position on your couch and do nothing. Right. So you got to get motivated fast. So yeah, fire up cmohs.org/recipients and read a couple citations of what these badasses did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, and you're gonna start feeling really lazy and very shamed. Okay, and I've done that. I've read these citations, and instantly, man, it's like Popeye eating some spinach. Man, I tell you, it gets you motivated. All right, and so yeah, they come in handy for that right there. So, but thought I would mention that. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed that movie military moment. I do these every Thursday night episode right there. So, but with that has been the movie military moment. All right, and now comes a time where I beg for money. I know it's pathetic. Okay, well, I try not to beg, but it's still, to me, it kind of amounts to that. But just want to let you guys know that if you want to throw a buck or two my way, how you can do that in both Rumble and YouTube. Okay, now don't give me a penny if you don't rightfully think I deserve it. Okay, because I'll watch people's shows on YouTube and Rumble, and if I don't think they deserve it, I don't give them anything. So completely up to you, completely up to your discretion. But if you're on the Rumble side, this is how you do it. Okay, so if you're on the Rumble side, you just got to fire up the live chat window, and then down by where you type in your live chat, right there, you just got to click on the button with a $sign on it. It'll just pop up a window asking you how much you want to donate to this knucklehead right here. That's it. Very simple, very easy. Okay. And then also in Rumble, there's a little button with a gift box on it. Click on that, and that'll gift a subscription to Movies Merica to some lucky person there, also in the live chat with you. Okay. And then last but not least in Rumble, there is a tip button that's right now there, right below. And you can tip me some money, but it just comes out of your Rumble wallet. So it's crypto and all of that stuff right there, okay? And then let's move on over to the tube of views or YouTube side. And it works eerily similar to how it works in Rumble. So in YouTube, you just fire up the live chat window. And down by where you type in your live chat, there's a button with a dollar bill on it. When you click on that, it'll pop up another window asking you how much you want to throw again to this guy. That's it. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so there you go. But that's only if you think I deserve it, right there. But any amount of money you throw my way, I definitely appreciate. That's fantastic. But in the end, I just appreciate you guys watching the show, and especially the people that live chat in here who go above and beyond, and they do more than just watch. They do more than just lurk. They get up in the live chat, and they put in some work, man. All right, there, like BaneOfTheShills and SWA223 and King Chris01, and we got Len Mollahan on the YouTube side, Shawnee Mac 1, right there. All you guys, it's going above and beyond, absolutely, in the live chat. So, but anyway, that's enough begging for money from me. Okay, let's move on with the show.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
All right. So right now, hey, it's good news time for Unfolding Joker. I don't know if you're still on the Rumble side live chat right there, but Unfolding Joker mentioned this movie to me a couple weeks ago, and when somebody recommends or asks me to review a movie, I do everything I can to oblige them. Okay, and so as you would imagine, sometimes there's weekends where the box office, the movies available are pretty thin. They're pretty paltry. There's no big movie releases coming out. Okay. And so this weekend is just one of those such weekends. Okay. So last weekend we had Spider-Man come out. A couple weeks before that, The Odyssey came out. So those are big movie weekends. This week, not so much. Okay. So I will be reviewing, per Unfolding Joker's request, RoboCop 2. Yes, RoboCop 2 will be the movie I will be reviewing this Sunday. And I will be doing it spoiler free. Yes, I'm well aware that movie came out in 1990, but you never know. I mean, there could be some Gen Alpha, Gen Z folks in here that have never seen RoboCop 2. Okay. And so I will still be doing it spoiler free on Sunday afternoon during that Movies Merica live show I was mentioning before. Okay. So, yeah, tune in to Movies Merica live this Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific time for my spoiler-free RoboCop 2 review. And that movie co-stars the late, great Tom Noonan, who just recently passed there. He plays like the main bad guy in RoboCop 2 there. So, and in a week from tonight will be a spoilery discussion about RoboCop 2. Absolutely. So yeah, on both Sunday and a week from tonight on Movies Merica spoiler warning, it's your opportunity to get on in the live chat and talk yourself some serious RoboCop 2 there. And you know what? Yes, you could talk the first RoboCop, which is, obviously a legendary movie. The RoboCop remake that came out a few years ago, not so much. That one sucked total balls right there. So this is about RoboCop 2 this Sunday, and then a week ago, or then a week from tonight on. I was about to say a week ago or a week from tonight. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to shut up now. RoboCop 2. There you go. All right. Moving on, thankfully.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Okay, so as I get ready to wrap up this episode here, let me double check and make sure I got everything in order. There we go. I think we do. And so real quick here, let me just try to, ask you in a least pathetic way possible to follow me on the platforms that I'm on. I'm on X under @MoviesMerica. I'm on Rumble under Movies Merica as well. If you look up Movies Merica on Rumble, you're going to see like 3 Movies Merica accounts. If you would follow all 3 of them, that would be fantastic. And again, remember, this costs you nothing to follow me, right? So, and it takes you 0.03 seconds to do it. Okay. And then also I'm on Facebook under Movies Merica. I have like a Movies Merica page, Movies Merica group. I have my Van Ebert profile on Facebook. So if you follow those, that'd be fantabulous. Okay. If you're a Gab guy or a Gab gal, I'm on Gab as well. I'm on Instagram as well, there. So if you get tired of, looking at, total smoke shows, shaking her titties, on Instagram, and you want to watch something else or check something else on Instagram, I'm on Instagram under Movies Merica there as well. So, and if you want, you can DM me on X under @Movies Merica and let me know, hey, I followed you on this platform and that platform, and I will follow you back, okay? Because you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and I mean that in the most platonic way possible, okay? There you go. Absolutely. So, and we see here, we've got on the YouTube side on the live chat, Zach. Is that Zach Milne Talks Movies right there? I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but yeah, you are not alone in that opinion. The first RoboCop is the only one we need. Ha ha! And he goes on to say, great show. Well, thank you. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you saying that right there. And yeah, you and I was about to say something, but it would spoil my opinion of RoboCop 2 there for the Sunday shows right there. So I don't want to do that. But yeah, the first RoboCop, oh my God. Fuck, powerhouse movie. That's for sure. So hopefully I'll see you on the Sunday episode where we talk about RoboCop 2. And hey, you can get in the show on Sunday and you could crap on RoboCop 2 all you want. And I will love it. There you go. So that's what we welcome opinions of all kinds here on Movies Merica right there. Now I might blast you for those opinions, but you can always blast me right back. That's what the live chat's for. I mean, that's what I don't get is I don't get like how more people don't get in the live chat and try to throw me off of whatever game I think I have, right? So, because for the show I have a little itinerary that I follow. A little, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that. And so the live chat is perfect for you to get in there and say, hey, you numb nuts, what kind of show is this? You suck balls. Like, I'm surprised more people don't get in a live chat and do that right there to kind of, throw me off and that kind of thing. So, in a fun-hearted way. So there you go. But that's one thing you can do in a live chat. Absolutely. So, but again, I want to thank everybody for watching this Spider-Man Brand New Day episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, okay? And again, everybody in the live chat, absolutely, especially you guys. And hey, don't be afraid to spread the Movies Merica around, okay? So send the links to this episode to anybody who's seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, and nobody can tell me no one's seen this movie because, like I said a little while ago, this is now the #1 movie of 2026. It's the highest grossing movie of 2026. Might stay that way. You never know. It might end up being the #1 movie of 2026 when all is said and done. You never know. So point is, I know a lot of people have seen this movie. And so, yeah, send the links to this episode. Send the link to this episode to anybody you would like there. And we'll go from there. Absolutely. So, but right there, let me double check everything right here because, we're trying to have a well-oiled machine here for a show. But as you saw earlier tonight, that didn't quite happen. We had some technical difficulties and all that stuff, but I blame Rumble Studio. So I have my fall guy, I have my scapegoat in Rumble Studio, and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. And my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the Popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.